Hello. Welcome. It me, Bodhi T. Welcome to the Bodhi T Show, starring me, Bodhi T. Tonight we have a lovely thing to showcase and announce in terms of VTuber modeling, because I have done a lot of progress behind the scenes with regards to that. And we got some music going. Alright. So, in accordance with the roadmap that I had planned, I am going to make and rig a ram skull to have as a preliminary model. Let me just turn that down a little bit more. Hello, Eris. Welcome to the streaming bonanza. It is week 2 of my journey, and I have much to showcase. And those of you who have noticed, the art tag is currently in play, and that is because I intend to showcase a thing right now. It's the thing. I made this over the course of this and last week, and I posted it everywhere to critical acclaim. Everybody said, hey, that's pretty cool. Right meow. And the thing is, this is the way it presents itself on ArtStation, Sketchfab, other social media, and so on. But the way that I want to incorporate this as a VTuber model is with this. With these lovely features. It's gonna have eyeballs with eye tracking, and it's gonna have a jaw with jaw tracking, or it's gonna yap around, and it is very reminiscent of a character from Metalocalypse. If you're familiar with good old Face Bones, the iconic announcement side supporting character in that show, I am sort of aiming for a very similar vibe to that. Thank you very much. I think it's good enough, and I've come to a point where I'm happy with it as it is, as a temporary thing, because the current roadmap is, this is going to be my first VTuber model, where it's going to be me going like this, in the future, as soon as I figure out all of the troubleshooting and necessities required of both Blender and the Unity engine, based on the tutorials I'm following, on how to transform this from a block bench model into a fully rigged VTuber asset. But that will be in the coming week. I tried working on it a little bit today, but I didn't have enough time and I came into a snag or 2 or 12. But soon it shall be complete. But this is the update I have with regards to the model. I have no idea when this will be done, but expect it at some point in the future. It is guaranteed that I will be using this for art relating to my weekly schedules. So that will get an immediate appearance there. And it has just so much pose potential. Hello, Anithea Rose, first time chatter, welcome in. Happy to have you. I'm just going over my latest ambition and work. And of course, going back to the roadmap. So this is stage 1. This will be done and it will be made. And then stage 2 is going to be a body. It's going to be a full body. Let me actually... because I'm very happy about this. Pure ref, there you are. Present, there it is. I'm very happy with the amount of reference material that I acquired for the body. So once I'm done having this as an actual model, once I figure out the nitty-gritty of Unity engine and so on, this is going to be the model. And then there's going to be a body attached to the model, and it's going to feature inspirations from all of these. I just realized something, that this isn't... this should be behind... Oh, I see what happened. Alright, fair enough. Right. So, this is all of the reference material, and it's going to take a lot of little pieces. It's going to have a beautiful gambeson underneath. There's going to be armor pieces on top. It's going to be very medieval. This is the base model. I haven't made this. This is made by this individual, but I'm going to be using this as a reference for the body. And there's so many other things. There's beautiful Witcher Man, but expect this in the future. Like, this is the under armor and all that. I've put a lot of passion and imagination towards acquiring all of these generously off of ArtStation, with every single artist referenced. Did you change your audio settings some more? Yes, that is another thing that I did. I decided to actually look into settings for OBS, and I fiddled with some things, and I'm glad that the change is audible. I am going more into ASMR territories with this, I think. I think it sounds very nice. So I'm going to be keeping it unless I get feedback about that. Oh, a good friend of mine does 3D modeling. Yes, Blender is a beautiful tool with infinite potential, and it has the capacity for basically anything and everything, but it is very difficult for my feeble mind to comprehend, so I'm sticking with Blockbench for the moment, which is a Minecraft modeling program that is made for very basic things such as low poly trucks and so on. This is, of course, not a basic thing, but it's the only other thing to my name that I can point out. It sounds almost like a radio show host. That may be the angle I am going for, and I'm very glad that it is achieving that effect. I hope that I will be able to enunciate myself better, and that this will be an overall entertaining experience for everybody viewing or listening. Yes, dear viewer, I am speaking directly to you. Thank you very much for the follow. Right, so yes, that is the update on this. I will rig this eventually. The model is complete. I just need to figure out what body, what was it called? Armature, that's it. Armature, bones, whatever Unity has cooked up, because the tutorial I'm following is very extensive and 5 hours long, so it will take me a while to sift through it. So I unfortunately cannot guarantee anything this week, but most likely it should be done by next week. How long can troubleshooting possibly take? How many issues are going to crop up before I can export a model into a VTubing program and attach it to my OBS? Hopefully, not enough to acquire me to work into next week, I hope. But we shall see. But yes, this is the thing, so stay tuned for more beautiful ram skull related things. Yes. Right, so that's that, and now I need to change the categories again, because we are playing a new viddy game. The last viddy game, I sat on an uncomfortable chair, and I perished a most gruesome death. Emotionally speaking, I gave up on my life as a detective and decided that dumpster diving was my one true calling, and the whole world hates me, and I decided that that was a very unique and poetic way to leave the game, so I decided to ask my Discord community whether or not they agreed, and if I should move on to a different game or continue with Disco Elysium, and they unanimously voted that I continue on with a new game. So if you too want to influence the goings-on of this community and place that I am building, that you are welcome to join the Discord and also all the other social medias that exist that I am trying to keep track of and also trying to add value to, but it is a difficult prospect because there are quite a lot of them. Yes. So, transition. Back to this screen. Haha, I need to close a lot of stuff. The beauty of music filling up the dead air. I have been streaming for, in terms of actual streams, this is my 4th stream, and I started streaming last Wednesday. This is my 1-week anniversary, so to speak. Welcome aboard. Glad you could join us. Thank you. Right, what was I doing? Oh yes, starting up game. More scene transitions. There it is. Oh yeah. Turn this part off. Right. Game is visible. I hope that game is audible. If game is not audible, you are very much welcome to inform me so I may address the issue and fix it. But here it is. Oh yeah, I forgot to change the tags. 1 second. Very nice music so far. Done. Stream info updated successfully. Thank you, OBS. People say that you're horrifying, but I've joined late enough into the VTuber scene that you have been patched out so many times that I don't have to deal with the hells of your past. Why does it still say art? Why are you doing this to me? Is the category changed? Why do I have to I just praised you. Why are you doing this to me? Still, you are a delight overall. Ah, yes, category Roadwarden. There it is. Right. Act 2 game. So, welcome to Roadwarden. I am new to Roadwarden. I have absolutely no idea what this game is about, but the pixel art aesthetic very much impressed me, considering what you just saw my model is going to be. So, pixel art is definitely my jam. So this felt like it was right up my alley. And also, reading. I want to read. And speaking of reading, we marvel at the serenity of the forest and crave the shroud of its silence. Welcome to Roadwarden's anniversary patch. It provides a few stories and bits of interface, but sadly it won't work well with old saves. That's good for us. This is a completely blind new playthrough. I recommend starting your playthrough from the beginning. In the newly available advanced difficulty settings, you can choose to skip the opening section of the game. Thank you so much for giving my game a chance and your bug reports, editing tips, and gameplay suggestions. Thank you for making Roadwarden what it is now. Aureus. Very nice. Good to see a game developer who respects the community that is building around their product. Beautiful. The first thing we do with any game is check the settings. I think this is good. And yeah. Ironically, I too found out that the readability of the pixel font is not great, so I have tried to go through a lot of measures to minimize the amount of pixel writing that I use in my own products and art. Right. I think this is all good. Describe attributes, quotes, tutorials. Yep, all good. How do I leave this? There we go. Right. New game. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Roadwardens not only accept this struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, and, if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectable one, and it pays well. I leave the safety of the city walls I still have my doubts. We do not have doubts here. Pick a difficulty mode. Standard. I love being very standard. The wall is still standing. There are no wolves around, no stench of blood. Good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You were supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. It may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beast folk, nor trolls. And the night is near. Your palfrey breathes heavily. It had a long day. I have no idea what a palfrey is, or how to pronounce that. Magical. Give me a bit more soundlessness, please. Thank you. Alright. I am so glad that I have a lot of water near me for situations like these. I recommend hydration at all times during the day. I could just look for another shelter. I need to look around cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Oh, I love role-playing games. It's almost as if the tag for this game on Steam had RPG in it. What kind of character do I want to be? Who knows? I'm going to be cautious. I need to look around cautiously. Considering the noise, you doubt that anyone noticed the clatter of hooves. The short, dry grasses barely cover the arid soil of this valley. But you're maybe a minute away from the edge of the sparse woods, which get denser as they climb up the hills. At best, this trail has a few more years before getting overgrown for good. Hard to believe it's the only route north. If it's the only route north, this is probably a very popular spot for ambushes, people making you pay for tolls that don't exist, and goblins. I don't know if goblins are a thing, but trolls were, so one can assume. I'm just going to get off the horse and enter the camp briskly. Ooh. Your heavy boots hit the ground, and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a stable. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. Oh, I have an axe. Take care of yourself. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher the chance you'll die in combat. Oh boy. I approach the gate, ready to walk in. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space. The fire pit is cold. Two people, two brothers, and they're going to the moon, are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. A Raiko Kappa soup? That is an ancient reference for any who get it. I walks towards them's beautifuls peoples. It takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greet you believe. Now, I'm not the sharpest crayon in the tool shed, but I feel like 2 is a lot less than 8. I let them speak first. It's nice to see an unharmed traveler in this godforsaken shithole. Makes me just a tiny bit hopeful. The bearded man's voice is strong, yet timid. You'll be staying the night with us, I guess. We're soldiers, he and I, adds the armored woman. Oh, perfect. Her voice switches from half asleep to relaxed. We'll do our best to keep the camp safe. But if you were to take the first watch, it would be a huge help. Travelers ought to help each other, wouldn't you say? You think for a moment. To fully rest, you'd need a good sleep. So I can choose between harming myself for the betterment of the camp, or saying I'm dead tired, and considering the fact that stepping off the horse hurt me, I'm going to have to choose the selfish option here. I'm a little tired. The man looks away. If you say so. Though better keep your axe nearby. The nights here can get spooky. I'd say sinister. The other soldier snorts. I ask them about their lieutenant. Ooh, icons. You wonder how to phrase your question. Whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attributes. Oh, I get choices in these games. What does this do? Oh, it makes it go away. Be supportive and cordial. Playful, use a joke or a witty comment. Distanced, hide your emotions. Intimidating, hint at a threat. Vulnerable, be sad, tired, afraid, or hopeless. Well, these people are tired and exhausted, so... Definitely not gonna joke at this. And since I forgot... Oh yeah, my question is ask about the lieutenant. The choices, I have so many, and now I need to choices. Why did Stream Elements just say that I'm live again? Oh, is it because I changed the... Does that mean that it pinged twice? Yes. Yes, it does. I don't know what that means. Oh well. Oh. Well. Thank you very much for the raid, Valkyrie. Welcome in, raiders. So glad to have you. It me, Bodhi T. I'm playing a new game. It's called Roadwarden. You're welcome to join me if you wish. But if you don't, you are welcomed to go about your day. It has been a busy stream, I reckon. How's it going, Valky man? It is actually an excellent opportunity for me to gather which of these 5 options I'll probably pick. It's certainly going. Well, from what I understand, you were playing Elden Ring, and the DLC is a tad more difficult than the base game, from what I have heard. I definitely wasn't already here. Yes, this is your first time being here. Welcome, hello, glad to have you. I hope you enjoy the facilities. Right, I'm gonna try to be friendly. Oh, you can select it and then play it. That is actually very nice. Instead of difficult, please read bullshit. It can certainly feel that way. I remember my time with Elden Ring before the DLC came out. There were a lot of moments where my perseverance and determination were certainly tested. It's a lovely game, though. I cannot wait to get my hands on the DLC whenever I feel the need to go through the entirety of Elden Ring from the start as a vile wretch with no armor and no abilities. But that is for the future, and this is now, and now is Roadwarden. This is playful? I'm sure you're busy, so if you could introduce me to your lieutenant. I'm looking for your lieutenant. That is very direct. I'd rather speak with somebody who's not going to waste my time. Okay, that is not the option that I want. I'm gonna go with this one. I had a long journey. I need to have a word with your lieutenant. So explain Roadwarden to me like I am a gamer word. Well, gamer word, you see, Roadwarden is an RPG that has a lot of text in it, and the art style is pixelized. They gave us a brief intro at the beginning. I am a nomad called a Roadwarden, and what we do is we go around and travel and basically adventure in the name of our land. We deal with things. We deal with highwaymen, with trolls, with random things. It's basically sort of a... if a Witcher was a normie type deal. So now I've encountered a camp, and I am in the camp, and I'm checking the premises out. I believe this squad was sent in here. There was 8 of them. Now there's only 2, and I need to speak with their lieutenant on the matters. So... text-based RPG, medieval style, some fantasy in there thrown into. Very nice so far. Allows me to use my reading chops, so to speak. The woman stands up and approaches you. She pays little attention to the sword at her side. Her shoulders are straight, eyes worried. "It be me, traveler. Are you in trouble? There's only the 2 of us here, but if you're lost... we'll take you to the nearby inn right after sunrise." "Actually, I'm your new Roadwarden." "Really?" The soldier in the shirt leans forward. "That explains how you got here in one piece, all by yourself. Though, you look exhausted," adds the other soul. "Don't you have a mount?" I need to determine whether or not it is worthwhile for me to remember these characters and figure out voices for them. I guess it's good practice to be able to swap voices on a dime, so I am pulling out a pen and paper, and I'm going to try to give these people individual and distinct voices that are not this one. This is the default. "I have a horse. It's waiting outside." Right, so the bearded man is gruff and deep and bearded, so... "Shouldn't you unsaddle it? I bet it's tired." A long pause. "I assume you're here not to meet our lieutenant, but rather to get some directions. I'm Tulia, and I'll be happy to help." I messed up immediately. That was not the bearded man, that was the armored woman. Haha! I guess she has a deep voice from now on. We're running with it. I shake her hand. I'm... how do you want people to call you? Leto. Bodhi. My name is Bodhi. It stands for Boenthius Dijkstromor Transformed. It's a mouthful, but lore is funny that way. Her grasp is confident. The shake is slight. "Just keep your horse away from the tents." She steps away. "We don't need to smell its dung." There we go, there's the bearded soldier now. Apparently he's the soldier in the shirt. So he's gonna be, not deep. "Ah, there's this one issue." And the soldier in the shirt also rises to his feet. "We've no tent to spare. You'll have to use a blanket or something." There we go. Iconic and different voices, even if they're reversed. "No problem, I enjoy observing the stars. I do when it's a clear day outside, well, when it's a clear night sky. I mean, you can see celestial objects during the day. Frequently do I see the moon in the beautiful day sky, but there's not as noticeable as during the night. You walk through the gate. Your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's not only taller than you, but also bulky, as heavy as it is strong. You can get in the saddle within a single breath. But most people wouldn't know where to even begin. From every side, it's a wall of flesh. As the iconic Terraria boss, before you enter hard mode, let us compare a horse to a wall of flesh. Considering the fact that, for example, bighorn sheep, as they are colloquially known in Wikipedia, are on average 130 kilograms or so, I cannot imagine the weight of a horse. Probably more than that. But I digress. Horses were brought to the Dragonwoods from the conquests in the south. They can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you too would be lost. I am getting bothered by the repeated use of that word, so I must Google how you pronounce that. Palfrey. Okay. We have officially learned about palfrey today. A small saddle horse with a smooth gait, especially as distinguished from a war horse or a pack horse. A saddle horse for the road or for state occasions, as distinguished from a war horse. So a palfrey is a road horse. We learned something new today. Go us. Right. Horses, yada yada. It's my only companion here. I wanted to feel at ease. I don't care how it feels, but I needed to be strong if I want to travel, and I cannot afford another one. Let's go for the empathy option. It takes a few steps towards you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck with strength and confidence, just the way it likes it. Who's a good boy? Your name shall be Dave. You are now Dave the Palfrey. Humans see useful animals and even pets as monsters in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom. Well, if you enter something's territory, I don't think it's on the thing for defending its territory and mauling you. But those are just my 2 cents. But you know that horses need companionship. I speak to it gently and lead it to the camp. Make rest and be ready, Dave, for tonight we sleep. You end up next to the fire pit. Removing the saddle makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back, just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy for such a strong animal, with enough time it starts to chafe. You wish it had something better to eat than this shabby grass. You should look for an inn. I need to unpack. Ooh. I guess in this RPG we get to choose what our characters are based on our dialogue choices. It seems very Oregon Trail. Yes, very much so. It is a RPG, but the premise is medieval fantasy more so than traveling down the Oregon Trail in a zombie-ridden apocalypse. Or at least that is what I know of Oregon Trail. I've never actually directly played it, but I believe I have seen people play it. Still a very good game to compare it to. You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of the sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Now that's the name of a metal band if I've ever heard one. Worst of all, you have no rope left. But do you have bombs? But maybe the soldiers could share some. Share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Yes, I have a frame of reference for how much a dragon bone's value is in this world, definitely. What are you talking about? Aside from the travel set, you own a few valuable possessions, essential for your trade. And now we get to choose what those possessions are. Ah, yes. So, I spent my savings on decent combat equipment. I have a fine gambeson, an axe made of steel, and a reliable crossbow with quarrels. I don't know what the quarrels are in this context. I am not as medievally literate as I originally thought. I have talismans that help me use my powers, as well as an iron axe and a worn gambeson. I carry writing instructions and alchemical ingredients, as well as an iron axe, a worn gambeson, and a small healing potion. I am a fighter. I like the Unga Bunga. I want to learn more about these 3 classes. No, I don't. I am now the Unga Bungaman. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. Open your inventory to see your possessions. These are my possessions. Ah. Food rations, merchandise, the iconic worn gambeson, a travel set, just like in the adventure books, what have you, in the Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot. 5th edition. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced, the spare clothes are still here, just in case. You take a look at your wooden bowl and mug, your cape, tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knife. Nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. Taking hits will damage your armor. You can then fix it in various settlements. Ah, so this is my car equivalent. 15 minutes before dusk. I hope the time isn't actually running in real time and I can read all of these things at my own pace, because there's nothing I dislike more than being rushed. That's one of the reasons I like VTubing, is that I can set my own pace, because this is a hobby and I get to do what I want. And what I want is to return to the soldiers. And also consume water, copious and copious amounts of water. I love you, microphone settings, for not detecting my slurping and blurping. That is not a word, but it is now. Right, back to reading. They're at the table again, observing your beast and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them eating out of wooden bowls. There's no meal for you, but you can sit down on a tree log. I don't want to eat with them. I sit down and ask Tulia what she can tell me about this area. I take some of my own rations. Hello, Carbon. Glad to have you aboard. You're the beautiful person that first recommended this game to me, and so far, it's been pretty good. So hello, welcome in. It is indeed Roadwarden time. Glad you could join us. From what I gather, we are many hours apart in terms of time zone, so I'm glad you could stop by. In the last inn, you got a smelling loaf of dark bread decorated with sunflower seeds. It tastes great, even by itself. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. It is very nice. This feels more my speed. It is medieval fantasy, and I get very much enamored in these concepts, especially considering that I too will be wearing a gambeson soon, as soon as I make a model to go with it. When on the road, most people have to think about themselves. Soldiers live with and for their companions, constantly on the move from one part of the realm to another, making sacrifices to protect their group as they face dozens of hideous creatures. I'm in the US. I'm gonna listen while I work this morning. Very nice. I hope you enjoy my rambunctious reading. But good morning to you nonetheless. Their lives are filled with discipline, hardship, and camaraderie. Roadwardens, on the other hand, which is us, it's me, the Roadwarden, learn how to work by themselves. I'm the lone wolf. The solo act. They seldom engage in open combat, patrolling the same roads for years. They help the settlements stay in touch, but also maintain commerce, settle down, forge friendships. When there are no laws to follow, they use their own judgment. Different responsibilities, different lifestyles. So I am the rogue core of the army. Keeping your stomach full will make you stronger. Starvation won't allow you to restore vitality while resting. You can find your supplies in the inventory. Oh, I am getting bars that I need to keep an eye on. Lovely. The game is becoming more game over time. That is lovely to see. I eat slowly, enjoying myself. In the meantime, I speak with Tulia. She's focused and chooses her words carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I can only say as much as I know, and that's not much. She nods towards the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of summer, there were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead. 1 has run away in tears. We're also strangers in this land, that's her companion. I make everything hilarious for myself. Any piece of information may help me do my job. The man leans forward, his legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, or do a magic trick. Whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than you originally thought. What did the officials tell you? Expect not much. No soul governs these lands. I share what I consider to be relevant. You tell the soldiers how little guidance you've received, since this area is too far away from Hovlavan. Neat. To keep it under control, you were warned that it's untamed and unknown. Who knows how many villages, bandits, or monsters may be found in these untapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Most of them never return. Do they turn into walking corpses or find what they're looking for? No soul could tell me, so I was looking for your guidance. The lieutenant drinks from her cup and crosses her legs, ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes you doubt she'll ever find a comfortable position. Where should we start? Do you have any rope? You're in luck. She heads towards one of the crates and moves aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. I love rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down on her chair. Take it. I was planning to leave it behind. I take a closer look. I have achieved a fine rope. A regular rope made of hemp fibers. I should take it and offer some food in return. I am running low on rations, so I'm just gonna click that. You received a rope. Tulia nods. For now, you leave the rope on the table. My nourishment is filled in my inventory. I have 1 food rations. They consist of dry meat, crackers, nuts, seeds, fruits, and water, which slowly spoil and don't require additional cooking. Merchandise, a pouch. I was gonna say a couch with coins. The city artisans make coins by cutting dragon bones into slices. Oh, So the currency in this world is dragon bones. They are valued by merchants, though rarely used in the countryside. So that's why the measure of a dragon's bone was valuable, because it's literally the material for the currency in this world. Who needs traditional materials like silver or gold? Dragon bones are where it's at. What happened to your squad? Tell me your backstory. Do it now. The man shrugs. Bandits happened, and monsters. A strong band, though. His companion chips in. When we got to the peninsula in spring, we saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms, but she carries on. If he had decided otherwise, we would all have died that day. The innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap, that the armed ones pretend to be soldiers, stay there at night, lose everything you have. Sounds like slave hunters. The amount of danger that this world is already presenting, and I am just out on the road. It's insane. And this is the tutorial from what I can gather. Right. Tulia sighs. Very much so. They killed some and took others away. Who knows where? They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. It kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear the entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 of our people died. Don't exaggerate. It's not like the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wanted to get rid of them and take over their camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road. Saved lives. You mentioned monsters as well? Nothing that would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young, too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place without a good leader. And they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a treant. Another one ignored my orders to perform some sort of ritual hunt. So a werebear tore her to pieces. The last one tried to act tough. Didn't tell us that he had cut his hand while cleaning his gambeson. She lets out a ghastly chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north, find a new life, disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. The setting is a grim fantasy. Nature is a very powerful force. Human behavior is depicted rather maturely, given how scary the world is. Yeah, it seems pretty realistic thus far. It reminds me of settings such as Goblin Slayer, and that's about the only example that I can think of at the moment for gritty, realistic D&D-esque setting. But so far, so good. It's very much my pace. I stay silent. Tulia seems defeated. I immediately regret my decisions. Oh well. Any idea what happened to the previous Roadwarden? That is a good question, I think. I am trying to replace him in terms of occupation, so it's good to know what the mortality of the previous person in this position was. Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him for almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirmed that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in early summer. That is very interesting. The sentence trying to get their story straight immediately casts suspicion upon these people, but so far they have not attacked me or tried to kill me, and I have gained free rope. So, you know, all's good. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of his knife without looking at you. I don't remember his voice, always busy, drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on that wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave at dawn. Unlike us, Asterion never gets bored. Tulia lets out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. So the previous Roadwarden was Asterion. Very interesting. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. If anyone knows... If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in a basement, the man carves with passion. We haven't seen him. Or his Saurian. Something ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer road wardens often use four-legged meat-eating saurians as their mounts. Ooh. Can I Google what a saurian is? A clade containing most recent common ancestor. A reptile? Okay. So, something unique to this realm, I take it. We shall find out over the course of the story. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatching, but unlike horses, can easily defend themselves from many monsters. At least your palfrey is fast and reliable and won't suddenly sink its teeth into an innocent passerby. A very interesting, very colorful description and depiction so far. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message. Neither one of us, Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings, says Tulia. My predecessor left me no clues. We also took a look at Asterion's stuff. Wait! She raises her open palm. I almost forgot. She stands up and heads to a nearby tent. He has kids in a village near Hovlaven. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, a second spear, a decent bow, some potions. Quite a treasure. She glances at you. But I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff? Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned, and you know nothing about her, she either ran away, or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us, tell us what you've learned about the man, and we'll get back to Hovlaven together. You think about your real mission. You are planning to return to Hovlaven in the early fall anyway. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away all of his possessions. That's logical. Oh, I have a journal. Use your journal to see the list of quests. Journal. Humans. Oh. Oh, this is very good. My journal has many things. Yes. Oh, this is beautiful. A glossary with all the terms. Yes, this is exactly what I need. Not like a game that throws you into a to the deep end and expects you to understand everything just by virtue of the game playing. I like having a bestiary. I like having an instruction manual for my game that I can read in my own time to be more familiar with it. This is perfect. I love this. So Asterion is the previous Roadwarden. Tulia is one of the last soldiers that took on the title of the lieutenant. And so on. So many beautiful things. Lore, lore, lore. Yes, I love this journal. This is exactly what I want. The game expects you to know nothing, and if you want to know things, it gives you the option to read. You need to confirm a note you're editing to save it. Notes are shared across all of your saves. It even gives you the opportunity to write notes in your journal. This is beautiful, and I love this. As somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience in text-based RPGs. Where were we? Moving into position. It's important to change position so you don't become the... What's the popular way to denounce bad posture? Shrimp, that's it. Don't want to do the shrimp. Just because I'm a streamer doesn't mean that I need to abide by the unhealthy tenets of streaming, which is, by my count, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, lack of hydration in shrimp mode. I do not subscribe to either of these. Right. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'd begrudge you anything. And who knows, you may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear mostly, maybe 5 feet tall, but stout. Long, red beard, short hair, pale face, rarely smiles. At least he has lips to smile with, I presume. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. I am very curious about the inner workings of this game and how much choices matter and how many little things influence the overall scene and the mood, like staying silent, does that influence the later dialogues? And I will find out over the course of playing this game, but it's just very exciting. I am very into this so far. This is so nice. So, find out what... So, find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left, just let me know. What should I know about the peninsula? Tell me about the area. I'll tell you what I know, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get here from the city? On a decent palfrey, I'd guess it would be 3-4 days. When you confirm, she continues. From here, you can reach the coast in about a day, as long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get here? You nod. The sea route allows Hovlaven officials to keep in touch with the coastal villages, collect taxes, move the soldiers, collect lumber, deliver tools. But maintaining order on a wild coast such as this one is like filling the ocean depths with coins. Because of the rocks, you can hardly stop a ship 5 miles from the shore, and boats can't get much closer. I love how I had to internalize the reason and then I had to voice it to her in a different manner. That is, again, so far the writing has left me very much impressed. She nods. I don't know much about fishing, but there's not that many people living by the shore, and they don't crave to stay in touch with city folk. As she pauses, her companion carries on. No soul from the north ever came to the camp. But when we travel to the roadside inn, Pelt of the North, they're happy to trade. And to play dice. Yes. Why not just stay at one of the settlements, The man clears his throat. I mean, we're to guard this road. This camp is our post, and, well... He turns towards Tulia. She lowers her voice. Oh god. Engage multiple deep voice lowering. Don't take it the wrong way, Bodhi, but are you a devout soul? Ah, we are immediately learning about religion, I take it. Right, let's see what we have in terms of options. Like most city folk, I believe that the people should unite their strength to overcome the threats of nature and dark magic. Everyone will be judged for both good and evil deeds. I'm part of the United Church. Ooh. What's this one? For many years, I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. I follow the teachings of an order of truth. I'm from a small village. For me, the freedom of Shell Numa? The Shell, Numa, and Soul are the main virtues of life. My community is unique and independent, and so are its members. I have a place in my fellowship. I have a strong connection to nature and spirits and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by the city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan. There's no evidence of the right's existence, and all the mystical tales are explained by magic. No, I'm not. And all the mystical tales are explained by magic. So... religious communism. Buddhism. Freedom and chaos, nature hippies, or none of the above. I'm going to go with mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research, because I am curious about these guys. Oh, I see. She hesitantly looks away. I don't know much about the River of Faith, but I'm sure we're not that different. I'm a unite myself, she says, with a sort of pride in her voice. She follows the United Church. The best response in this situation? Yeah, That's crazy. United Church? Wow, that's so wacky. You're quite the character, Tulia. The people here are disquieting. Every few words, she taps the table with her finger. The traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials. Here. She starts to draw lines with her index finger, as if she's pointing at an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at a bog. My granny senses are tingling immediately. It's not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be an eremite. You nod. She means a fellowship. I'm glad that they're already introducing all these factions and religions, and they're keeping you in the loop by using the terminology they came up with. Like yes, dear reader, dear player, she means a fellowship. Like we explained before. Don't worry if you don't know what eremite is. They do crazy shit, her companion chips in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged to never return there. I see. You've heard tales such as this one since you were a child. If an isolated settlement manages to survive without a city's influence, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. It's called isolation. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions they have to deal with, and the rustic pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages. The bringers of doom, the traitors of humankind. Personally, there is a beautiful game that I love to play that I will be playing in a few weeks from now called Last Epoch, and in that game, you can play as a blood mage, and they are delightful and unhinged. Any monster worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mount? Last Epoch. I can't wait to get a model so I can do a continuous poggers. Because that's what it can do if viewed from a specific angle. Any monster worth mentioning? We saw lots. We saw all sorts of beasts. The man starts to count on his fingers. Goblins. There we go. There's the goblin confirmation. Treants. Cats large and small. Runners, howlers, wolves, spiked boars. Mouflon eaters, griffins. But we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with most mounts. Tulia glances at her companion. Though, Palfrey should be fine. Should. Theoretically, it should be okay. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep the coast and mountains. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting among themselves. They fight more for food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count on luck. Excellent advice. When in doubt, just roll the dice and hope for the best. Just luck. Just absolute luck. Don't try to actually do anything to help your situation. Just rely on luck. I'm impressed that this guy's one of the 2 remaining survivors of this camp. And what about the east? She stares off across the camp. Hard to tell. We were there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, but we didn't enter it. Wilderness all around. Were you able to speak with these so-called necromancers? I am skeptical, as you can tell by my skepticalness. You can see why we were not eager to go there if we could avoid it. The lieutenant chuckles. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to a Roadwarden. But the roads are dangerous with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. If you're heading to the undead village, you'll get to an inn first, and soon. Julia nods. Belt of the North is a safe place. I hope my journal is writing this down. Are you writing this down, journal? I don't know how active you are, how dynamic you are. You can talk with the innkeeper or the guards. Ask them about the road. That's all I need to know. Thank you. You've been very informative. If only I had the exact same excitement and passion with regards to talking to people in real life. But unfortunately, I have never found myself in a medieval settlement with the intent to fight off trolls and goblins. I should go to a different part of town. She nods. I'm afraid we can't do more for you. So what was your squad's mission? Anything I should know about this camp? If you were me, where would you go next? So what was your squad's mission? I'm curious about that. The lieutenant looks into your eyes. You know, the usual. Making the roads safe, keeping people alive. I explained that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. I can't really tell you. Switching voices is proving to be more of a challenge than I initially surmised, but it's all in good fun. You sense no hesitation. Do you have any other questions? She doesn't trust me enough to tell me about her squad's mission. Fair enough. I think that's everything. Are you sure? Says the bearded man. We may not be around the next time you come here. That's okay. I feel like I've discussed things enough with you. We should prepare for the night anyway. Open the archive to reread the most recent text. Ah, there's a history. It's not really a mechanic. It's a tool. Useful thing to have. I don't really know what to refer to it as, but I'm glad that it's there. We very much should. Julia sighs with relief. And you'll need a lot of sleep on your journey. I stand up and prepare for the night. I really do wonder if I had decided to stay up and take the night watch, if Tulia would have trusted me enough to share her mission information with me. Oh, well, if I ever end up playing this game again, I will definitely be making different choices. I love how we're still, I think, in the tutorial area, and I'm already immersed with the amount of things I could have done and the choices I've made already. It's the mark of a very good experience thus far. You go to the barrel and splash water on your beautiful, pretty face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath, because you stink like a motherfucker. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. It is practicing the art of sleeping while standing up. I look for a place protected from wind. I use my bag as a pillow, put my blanket on the ground, and cover myself with my cloak. Stay tidy to have a better chance to influence others. Oh my god, I have a cleanliness bar. Oh, that is amazing. I don't think I've played a game with a cleanliness bar. The closest thing that comes to mind is my experience with RimWorld, where there is a mod that expands upon the dirtiness and the need to regularly take showers and have bathrooms and all that. So a cleanliness bar is going to be quite interesting for me. You aren't used to sleeping in such harsh conditions, but it is better than nothing. The weather is gentle. Maybe you won't catch a cold. The stars instantly inspire your dreams. Oh, I love the stars. Both with their splendor and by making you look for patterns and shapes among them. Look towards the northern star. Your job starts tomorrow. Yay, I love having a job. Being employed is one of the great pleasures of life. Knowing that you have a stable income and know how you're going to pay for your next meal. You can never take that for granted in this life, I feel. I focus on the real goal of my journey. So what is my great main quest, my story? The Merchant Guild wants to take control of this realm. Oh boy. Your wardening duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula. So I am a glorified adventurer. Learn about the territory, resources, and threats. Get to know the locals, and if you can, convince them to consider negotiations with Hovlaven. Hovlaven. Officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers or be a threat to the priests of the United Church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated? Do I need to hold a cross in front of something until it explodes? And if it touches me, the screen turns black and it says Mortis. Is that a thing that needs to happen as well? Such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, or slavery. Ah, the forbidden arts. At least I have time, 40 days, so the campaign takes place over the course of 40 days, and I need to be as thorough as I can. So I do have a timer, but it's more of an overall thing, and it doesn't feel like there's pressure on me in those 40 days already off the bat, because I feel like however those 40 days end, that's still a good story and a way for my game to end. So it doesn't really feel like pressure. It's just there to give this a beginning, middle, and end, and I think that is very nice already. It's not like you have 15 minutes to get through this dialogue and read everything as fast as you can, otherwise goblins are going to nip at your shins. This doesn't strike me as that type of game so far, and I'm very grateful for that. Right. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Pulia and return to Hovlaven. There, you'll report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goal to pursue. I need... this is my secondary personal backstory thing, I guess. I need to gather some extra coins so I can save my sibling from debt collectors. No to that. I need to gather some extra coins so I can retire early and live in prosperity and safety. Good. If I gather enough connections among the local leaders, I'll use them to become a major player in the Merchant Guild. Are we the baddies? I want to be remembered as the soul who brought peace and order to this realm, a hero. I just want to help people, make this region safer for the locals and the newcomers alike. I need to find a new life for myself. I have a difficult past, and I want it to be forgotten. Ooh. These are very good, and I want the last two, definitely, but I have to choose. Yep. I need to find a new life for myself. I have a difficult past and I want it to be forgotten. I am turning over a new leaf. I want to be a better man than what I was before. I want to be a better disembodied corpse with a ram skull on top of it. New shelter unlocked. New entry. A new life. You can't travel during the night. Is it night? Yes, it is night. You can tell by the fact that it says night when you mouse over here. Press the sleep button to rest. Ah, there's the sleep button. Your half-asleep senses are catching the sounds of wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and anxious, though the pleasant humid late summer air evens it out slowly. You are thinking about your goal, but you need to gather your strength. All I can do now is rest, and the sleep button is there and available to me. Quick save complete. Does F5 do the same thing? Yes! Another game where the universal F5 is present. Already a 10 out of 10. A winged hourglass. A steel pendant hanging from a leather strap. It's common to wear such jewelry to demonstrate one's allegiance to the right. Ah, so I gained this when I chose my moral belief system. So I have my sword, my sword, my axe, and my crossbow. Archive. Ah, this is everything that we've recently talked about. Inventory. Journal. Bestiary. What? It feels like spoiling myself, but at the same time, I am very curious about the bestiary and what is there. Wolves, unicorns, undead. Anything interesting about undead? Any breathless human shell touched by a fog or by a spell of a necromancer wakes up as a bloodthirsty beast. They seek Numa to grow stronger. May it be waiting for other foggy days, or by collecting it from the dead. The more magic fills their new form, the greater their intellect and capabilities. They start using weapons, mechanisms, tools, even magic, and start to use a human-like speech. There's still more to learn about them. Also, I can't even spoil myself. It gives you like a basic premise, but it tells you that there's more to learn when you encounter them. This is definitely giving me a lot of Witcher vibes, which I absolutely adore, because The Witcher 3, whatever the rest of the name is, I forget, Wild Hunt, I think, was a great game. So I am glad to be getting the same vibes from this game. So, for the first time in my streaming career since I began this journey exactly 4 streams ago, I am going to use the BRB screen. I don't know how much to raise the volume of this, but I'm going to assume this is fine. And because the thing is not working, there we go. Just gonna put that there for now. Right, be right back. I return. Sleep now. Sleeping on the ground. Your blanket won't be much of a bed, and the palisade barely covers you from the wind. Sleeping here will be severely uncomfortable. Very unfortunate. Oh well. You should take a break. You experience no penalties and bonuses. People are hesitant to trust you. Your face is dirty. You will stop even a life-threatening strike. With your current gambeson, it's the best protection you can get. Oh. You are surrounded by sunlight. Your back begs you to stand up. Before you fully wake up, you smell a roast. No, burning meat. Burning, rotten meat. Disgust crawls towards your consciousness. You stand up. Normally, you would dust off your cape and blanket, but your instincts are stronger than your routine. Your horse is looking around nervously. Oh good, because I had 2 assumptions. Either they cooked my horse, or they cooked my legs. The Walking Dead has left scars on my feeble consciousness. Your bags are where you had left them. You see an open gate. I go outside and see what's happening. Both soldiers are standing near a humble pyre. The man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. What? Contemptively? Contemptibly, I think. Tulia is the first one to address you. Bodhi. She greets you with a nod. We use the horse's manure for the flames. That explains everything. So don't worry about cleaning it up. You see a corpse among the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to a male or a female, but it was an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. A traveler or an undead, what are you burning besides horse manure? The latter, a young one. She lacked the pneuma to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with a spear from a safe distance. Oh, maybe if I stayed during the night shift, I would have had to deal with a zombie crawling up the wall. Fascinating. She shifts her weight. One more fog, and she'd be a real threat. Even now, it took a couple of hits to knock her down. I love the fact that I checked the bestiary and I only read about the undead, and immediately, I don't know if it's coincidence, but I'm going to assume it is, immediately the first thing that happens is we encounter an undead. Sooner or later, every human shell wakes up, gaining more strength with each soul it devours at each moment it spends in the fogs. Burning the dead is not just a religious practice, it's a necessity. Oh, wow. Soldiers, priests, village mayors, even road wardens. Making a large pyre takes a lot of time, but it saves lives. This really is making me remember The Walking Dead, with the sense that if a corpse is left intact, it will rise up and it will cause more trouble than it's worth. So make sure to destroy corpses. In Walking Dead, it's via the brain. In this game, it seems just burn the damn thing because the fog is evil. That's very fascinating. Tulia calls this undead a she. Most unites. Pneuma is a sort of spirit energy that can possess corpses and empower magic. I don't know if it explains that well. It probably has somewhere in the glossary. Let's see. Does it have a specific tab for Pneuma? But even if it does, thank you very much for actually explaining that, because I was a bit lost. I got the idea that it is a form of magic or some sort of magical energy, but your explanation gives me a little bit more detail, so I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't see anything here. Humans, beastia, notes, nope. Might as well use the note feature. There we go. I love notes. Right, going back to the game. It's time for me to go on my adventure. Running away from the reek, huh? I don't blame you. She looks again at the fire. Find us here if you learn what happened to Asterion. We leave once the fall comes, if not sooner. Safe travels. These words make you stop. An old farewell, mocked in a number of songs and tales, but yet you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. She observes the fire with one hand on her hip, the other one on her chin. Fascinating detail. 14 hours before dusk. Day 1, 39 days before autumn. So I have 40 days to return to this camp with my first quest. I prepare for the journey. Use the travel button to see the map and move to another area. Ooh. I tried to use modeling shortcuts like dragging the map, but seems like I don't have enough map to work with, or the map doesn't move because it's that large. You gather your equipment and spend half an hour warming up and preparing your mount, double-checking the buckled straps. You put on your gambeson and make sure that your axe is tightly attached to your belt. Then get in the saddle. The palfrey knickers, ready to leave. Thank you, fork of a warhorse that is a road horse. It's very important to remember the things that you learn over the course of life. And in this case, this stream. It's time for you to get to the crossroads north from here. I need to ride north. We ride by clicking the up arrow. Ooh. Ah, so this shows my surroundings and what I can grasp at, more or less. Even at a later hour, you wouldn't expect to meet any travelers in this valley. I just realized I am all alone now. This is entirely the lone wolf on his own with his trusty horse, called Dave, which I named because Dave is a funny name to me. The setting really gives the vibe that humans aren't able to conquer their environment and maintain some of their hunter-gatherer ways. Aren't able to conquer their environment and maintain some into medieval times. I find it super interesting. Yeah, I think this premise is very fascinating. It's basically regular human history, but the medieval period is much tougher because there's magic and beasts and creatures. So humanity is at a much bigger disadvantage because the amount of things that are bigger than them and can slap their head off of their body clean off is a lot more than what we encounter in our world. Right. The warm summer breeze lures your mount forward, but the serene chirping of birds is quickly replaced by the distracting screeches and gurgles coming from further down the path. You soon find a pack of four-legged griffins. They're larger than foxes and merge the features of birds and furred beasts. Each one is a different size, coat, and colors, and their temperaments are just as varied. Their fronts are covered with vivid feathers, while their rears have darker fur. Their wings are massive, making them impressive jumpers, but they're too heavy to fly. Is it because they're babies? About 24 beasts are yelling, brawling, and chasing each other around, blocking your path. I stop and think about my decisions in this case. Oh, I have an axe icon. Oh, I love the word force in games. As an experienced warrior, you gain an advantage during physical struggles. I have the power of Onga Bonga. The character with a brick for a brain returns. But this time, I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and I'm going to play a very soft-hearted brick who uses force only when necessary and in order to dispel a situation. De-escalate, that's the word. I definitely think this premise is super interesting so far. I am so happy that you recommended this game to me. I'm having a whale of a time so far. Do I have a shout out feature? Oh, I just remember that I forgot to shout out. Does this work? I need to check. I'm new to streaming. Does that work? Is that a thing that functions? I can't tell. We're learning how to stream. No, that didn't do anything. I will need to look into that. I do not have a shout-out feature, and I don't know how to what is necessary to install that, so I am writing down, look into a SO command. So I wanted to shout you out, and then I remembered that I didn't shout out my raid. Thank you for the raid, by the way, if any raiders are still here. Oh yeah, there is a built-in / shout-out, yes, thank you. So, give this man a late shout-out. Ah, there we go. So I need to look into more bots. I did speak with a bunch of other streamers about Seri bot, so I will look into that for future. But for now, there we go. That's a thing that works. So since I didn't do it on time, I'm going to do it now. Thank you very much for the raid, A_Valkyries_kiss. I very much appreciate it, and have a shout out. I need to work on my repertoire for what to say about these circumstances, because I honestly don't know what to say. I love and appreciate it, but I don't know how to express that. So I'm new to this whole thing. We need some etiquette training. Right. So when that expires, I'm gonna do another one. Might as well. Good practice. So you need to wait 1 minute before giving another shout out. Alright, I'll do it later. Fine, Twitch, you beat me. Alright. You can't enter the forest blindly. If these or other creatures were to chase after you, the thicket would be disastrous for your horse. There are reasons why travelers stay as close to the main roads as possible and why adventurers move in groups. Usually, the safest approach would be to stay where you are and just wait for the pack to get hungry. It may, however, take a couple of hours. You're thinking about your conversation with Tulia. You've got a lot to do, and time may be of the essence. Now, it is time for us to make decisions. So, stay here and choose the safe route, but waste time. Hurry the horse, but injure the horse. Shift my horse into third gear. Grab the crossbow. A light hit should be enough to make them scatter. Oh. The dice icon marks actions that involve a random chance. Oh, that makes this even more in-depth. Well, now, so there's actually 2 risk it for a biscuits, and then there's the safe option. So staying here is actually also an RNG, huh? Very peculiar. Well, in that case, I don't actually want to do the safe option, so brute force it is. I take my axe and hurry the horse. If we ride fast enough, we should be fine. Fuck. Oh no. Oh no, you're barely standing. Initially, your horse completely trusts your guidance, though after a few more steps it snorts. You prepare your axe and get ready to push away any griffin willing to jump on you. You can learn more about your abilities in the character sheet. I have a oh my god, I have a character sheet. I love this. Combat experience slight. Engaging in combat helps you during future fights that involve random chance. Oh, so you... oh, that's amazing. You improve as you mess up. Faith. The strength of your religious conviction is measured by your actions and judgments. You pray to the right and follow the river of truth. For many years, you've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. Yes. Oh, this is great. I feel like I'm making my own Roadwarden in the game called Roadwarden, right? You prepare your axe. Once you get in the middle of the surprised herd, your mount squeals and gallops forward. The creatures in front of you flee, but others try to jump at you from the sides, from both sides. You kick 2 of them away, but the third one scratches your leg. As long as it's my leg and not Dave the horse's leg, I would rather take the brunt than let Dave suffer for my actions. I love you, Dave. It hurts, though only a bit. You ride away, and the griffins can't keep up. You still hear their screeches when your mount slows down. Okay, so I took the brunt and I took the damage. They didn't harm Dave. Once I get to a safer spot, I stop to clean and bandage my wound. Fade to blue. Ooh. Achievement unlock. The new adventure. Reach the first crossroads. Oh, the classic fork in the road. Hopefully, the dark magician Aku will not mess up the stick that I'm going to use to determine my path. That is once again an ancient reference to Samurai Jack. The road splits. According to what the soldiers have told you, you may find a safe inn by turning left. The forest to the right is lush, and the trail overgrown. Kids used to have this song. How did it go? The harshest pathway leads to the dragon's lair. To those who search for treasure, do you truly dare? The signpost in front of you doesn't make your situation much clearer. It was put here by someone who can't write. For folks who can't read. Covered in old red paint, it points east. Blood there, as people say. Danger to be found. There's not a soul to ask for guidance. Yes, there is. I look to Dave. Oh, there we go. I get to name it. Yes. I love this. What's its name? Dave. Dave is peaceful as you stroke its mane. Maybe it can't help you choose a path, but you've spent many years together. Happy to go on. It takes a couple of steps forward. You spot a few berry shrubs with wild cabbages. Ooh. But they still need at least 2 weeks to gain maturity. Time to make a turn. Wait. What's the time? 13 hours and 15 minutes before dusk. Is there anything I can do to repair the horrid circumstances befalling my vitality? Vitality affects your appearance and your random chance of success during physical struggles. Low vitality stops you from engaging in exhausting activities and increases the chance of dying in combat. You restore vitality by sleeping and resting. Nourishment affects your random chance of success during physical struggles. On levels 1 and 0, nourishment stops you from restoring health while sleeping or resting. You lose nourishment when you sleep or exhaust yourself and gain it whenever you eat. You experience no penalties. Okay. And how much does my rations give me? Eat a food ration to increase your nourishment by 2. Okay. So 2 is the answer to that very long-winded way to ask a question. Very well, game. Very well. Very good. Your armor is not in the best shape and could use some additional work. I would love to. Equipment, Dave. While valuable, they can't survive in the Dragon Woods on their own. They are owned by messengers, scouts, or rich city folk. Yes. I guess I can't stop and dust myself off to regain 1 point of appearance. Welcome, Arsad Wade, first time chatter. Nice to have ya. Welcome to Roadwarden. And also the Bodhi T show, because it me, Bodhi T. What are we doing? Traveling. Explore west, explore east. So west is safety and east is other things. Guess I don't have any other options other than travel. Since I am at the verge of death, I am going to try and pick the presumably safer route. Dave trots with ease, unbothered by the few branches covering the beaten road. The bird songs and distant howls draw your attention to the forest, which gets sparser and brighter. You spot boars, roe deer, and saurians. The sight of a nearby wolf pack worries you, but once you push your hips forward and your palfrey enters a canter, the beasts don't even begin a pursuit. The speed alone will protect you from many dangers. You notice a stone tower, taller than the trees. Must be the inn I've heard about. We proceed. Fade to blue. Ah, beautiful pixel art. Inns like this one fit the regions. Is that a spelling mistake? Does it mean once? Inns like this once fit the regions traveled by merchants, but you wouldn't expect a place of this size in a forsaken peninsula. The stone and lumber must have been transported from far away, and the workers, guarded by expensive mercenaries, surely lived for many seasons in a primitive hamlet, subsisting on salted supplies. Every time I read the word hamlet, images of darkest dungeon flash into my mind's eye, and I am reminded of the beautiful voice of, I believe it was Wayne June, was the name of the narrator in that game. Beautiful game. A bit harsh and unforgiving at times, but still, an experience to be had for certain. There are seemingly no cracks in the wall, and the building was whitewashed only a few years back. The road is wide and beaten. Dozens of souls could hide, if not in the buildings, then at least in the yard. The expenses and labors put into this fortress were worth many trading ships. 3 armed people are on the ramparts. Ooh, I just noticed them. There's little guys on the ramparts. Or at least I see one of them. Though you can only see what's above their waistline, they're leaning on the parapet right next to the gate. And you think you notice a glimpse of a smile. They wear gambesons, each one of them dyed differently, yellow, green, and linen gray. I approach the gate. A woman in yellow armor leans forward. She has long, curly, disorderly hair, red hair, pointing in every possible direction. Immediately thinking of Brave. This combination of colors doesn't work at all. In the woods, one would have to shout to draw this much attention. There's still a fair distance between the two of you, but she speaks loudly. I hadn't seen a horse for years now. I just said that it's weird to see such a large jackass, huh? Her voice is young and strong, with an accent that reminds you of the villages spread around Hovlaven. But no jackass would wear a saddle, I'd say. She exchanges a few words with a male guard wearing green, giving you time to move closer. Well, this one here says there really are donkey saddles. Say, traveler, how hard is it to ride a horse? Let's see. How about you give it a try? Yes, here, have my horse. You wouldn't believe it. The lessons were a pain. It's easy to learn the basics, but it's tiring. You train different muscles than those for combat. I don't answer her. It's an inn, isn't it? Open the gate. Quite hard, honestly. Some days are still rough on me. Well, as was alluded to in previous streams, humor is a lovely gateway into further relations and conversations. So honestly, I do like this answer. I laugh. You wouldn't believe it. The lessons were a pain. You get off your horse and imitate the silly... Oh, we are doing full clown mode. You get off your horse and imitate the silly walk from the day that followed your first long journey, when your whole shell was crying. I love how this game refers to bodies as shells, because of the whole Numa and soul dynamic magic thing going on with it. You illustrate the pain as you move your hand from your back to hips, then thighs. In return, the guards tell you about that time they had to carry their friend with bitten off legs for 3 days straight, through the heart of the woods. Meanwhile, the other guards open the gate. You may be in a good mood. The woman in the yellow jacket smiles at you. But you don't get so noisy when you talk to our boss. The man never smiles. He has the world's suffering sculpted on his face. She leads you under the roof under which your palfrey can rest, tethered with a cord to a wooden post, near some old hay. Once you're ready, go inside, speak with our boss. Maybe you're hungry. The other guards take care of the various chores. They peek at your mount every now and then as if they're splitting firewood, cleaning their clothes. They peek at your mount every now and then as they're splitting firewood, cleaning their clothes, weeding the garden patches, and moving chairs. 2 of them are making a rope. You head towards the inn, hearing the piercing scream of a boar from the other side of the yard. I gently open the door. If you are at an inn in the morning, you can spend the entire day on resting. Oh. I guess this means that I'm here in the morning. And I definitely need to recuperate some vitality, so yay, options! The locked windows make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up the hall. A muscular man is sweeping the floor near the stairs, but after he glances at you, he leans the broom against the wall and heads behind the counter. You're lucky to show up. His voice is deep and soft. With a city-like accent, he observes you with a keen attention, yet avoids your eyes. I've a keg of decent ale, wormwood, bog myrtle, juniper berries, cat's foot. He fills a mug carefully and puts it on the countertop. It's going to spoil soon. Today, maybe. And we don't drink here before the... even. I hate to see the good stuff going to waste. His skin is dark, almost purple, rare even among the southern tribes, and his hair is naturally bluish. His clothes are quite fancy for manual labor. The elegant tunic wouldn't stand out in the city square. I stand at the counter. The planks let out a creak after every step you make, so you slow down a bit. You could swear the innkeeper made little to no noise. Here you go. Here you go. He pushes the mug forward. But just so you know, my pelt of the north doesn't belong to Hovleven. You can sleep on the floor if you wish so, but if you want a bed and a meal, you'll have to pay. The way we may have some leftovers from dinner, but I'd need to check. Okay. Peculiar. Be supportive and cordial. I won't stay here for long, I introduce myself. I'm not here to pay compliments to piss in a mug. Vulnerable. I'm going to be friendly. Thanks for the drink. I see you know how to make friends with a Roadwarden. Boop. Ooh. He meets your eyes with a puzzled look. Then he grabs a wet cloth and starts to wipe down the shelves. From time to time, your conversation is interrupted by splashes of dirty water in a wooden bucket. Well, nothing is truly free. I have work for a soul of the road, but I don't need a new mouth to babble. He speaks slowly, yet audibly. I value my time. You should value yours. Message received. Large bartender. I drink the ale. The dark room and wooden walls of the mug make the liquid look as brown as a chestnut. The lee in spring hits your nose, and the first sip is even too complex, too flowery. While the brewer has used fancy ingredients, the exotic licorice ruins the aftertaste. Now you know why there's so much left. Maybe it takes an acquired taste. The innkeeper nods. I was hoping to see someone willing to patrol the roads. Maybe you'll help me with a worrying thought I have. Which is? There are brigands in the woods. Our place is a stronghold, so I'm not afraid of an open strike. But they've gotten more active in the last 2 years. One day, they may steal our furs. And I've no doubt they're the reason why merchants come here only once. Having bandits around gets expensive. He rubs his hands together, camouflaging his paws. Oh, that's a very clever thing. I should learn how to do that whenever I need to take long pauses. To take a sip of water, for example. I want you to reach Howler's Dell, northwest from here. It's the largest settlement around. I'm sure you'll get there sooner or later. Ask Thighs, the mayor, about Glossia, that bloodthirsty wolf of a woman. I've heard rumors about a raid in the north. If Glossia is ready to break the truce with the locals, I'm willing to join forces with them to get rid of her band. He looks at a nearby dragon bone, which we know is currency. Not too difficult, right? Just do it when you have a chance. A couple of days won't make much of a difference. I'll pay you 2 coins when you get back with the news. Fine? I can haggle. Oh, haggling. Do I want to? The choices one must make define their character. I think I'll be well-spirited enough to accept what it is. I don't know how much 2 coins are, but I'll take them anyway. I nod. Ooh, we have merchants. We have a shop. What do you have for sale? I can go and pick up a few things for you. Some food for your travels to start with. Apples, nuts, sausage. I love sausage. Not too many at once. We need to maintain our supplies. I've got an elk fur I don't need. Its buyer was caught by a pack of red wolves. Nice for a sleeping spot. Just as nice for a wall. An almost untouched bowl of soap. Priceless for a traveler. You can't tell if he's being sarcastic. I feel like he isn't. Made of fine oak ash. Strong. Though you should have some better supplies before you start your own bathhouse. After you mention you'd like something more useful on these roads, he looks down. I don't have any blades or armor to spare, but you pay well. But if you pay well, you can take one of our crossbows and a bunch of quarrels, a yew bow, wool cords, and the trigger. Needs just a little bit of oil. It's as good as you can get without soaking it in magic. Takes a bit of muscle to draw, but even a 16-year-old could handle it. I wouldn't sell it cheap, but I'm ready to give a discount to a helpful ally. Let me take a look at what you have first. My voice hurts from making that voice. So I have 5 coins, and this costs 1 coin. This costs 19. A bar of soap costs 1. I believe the best scenario here is buy one of these. Buy one of these. Can buy more tomorrow, fair enough. I have enough rations, I feel. And... you have any leftovers? Very nice roll. Like a bedroll. I could eat something. Yes, I feed them to our boar. I won't give them away for nothing. He tells you to wait, then leaves the building for a few minutes and returns with a wooden bucket and a long stick ending with a hook. Go through the gate and turn left. You'll see a bunch of bushes. We need some berries. Bring me a bucket full. You'll be done in half an hour or so. Your horse could use a nap anyway, and I'll prepare something to fill you. The hook is not made of metal or wood. It's a long curved claw, almost black. I think it's fair to earn your keep through manual labor. If time is the thing I need to spend in order to ensure that I have more vitality, then so be it. That's quite a lot for berry picking. The tools are cold, but not heavy. You notice a pair of thick gloves at the bottom of the bucket. Ah, the berries are not a problem. The innkeeper smirks. Unlike the snakes, better scare them away with a stick, or move them with a hook, and protect your hands. The little ones won't eat you, but don't get bitten. I'm sure you know how to be patient. Lovely. I get to fight snakes now. I'll go right away. I have no time for questions, because I might die to snakes. You step outside. Dave is pawing the ground. You hear the clinking of tools coming from the armorer's workshop. Can I go to the well? The recently renovated wooden roof covers the well from rain and birds. One of the guards is enjoying the cold drink he drew with a bucket and tells you to use only as much water as is necessary. The oak ash soap you own can help you get cleaner. You need 3 pieces of bathing equipment to get more out of this place. I wash my shell. Yay, I have achieved 1 appearance. You won't get much cleaner without a proper bath. Splashing yourself with cold water from a bucket won't take away your smell, but it's enough to remove the tallow and sweat from your skin or mud stains from your clothes. I step away. Let's go get the berries. The innkeeper knew what he was talking about. You put on the gloves and look through the bushes from a safe distance. It doesn't take long before you notice the first serpent lying on a rock somewhere in the thicket. The creatures are not that large, and even if some of them hiss at you or slither closer, the jabs of the hook keep them at a distance. You don't know much about these berries. They are round and reddish. You wouldn't trust such a color even if you were looking for food in the wilderness. The plants don't have thorns, but the leaves are harsh. So you make sure to thoroughly cover your skin with your clothes. You have to look through many bushes to fill the bucket, but the presence of insects and snakes doesn't allow you to relax. I gather the berries and go back to the inn like the champion that I am. You've returned to the courtyard. 2 of the guards are participating in a friendly skirmish. Their wrestling is accompanied by a crowd. Neat. The locked window make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up the hall. The innkeeper is mixing something in a pot at the stove. So, you again. Need anything? I present my hard labor to him in the form of a bucket. Great! He peeks inside the bucket. I've got cabbage stew with a few goose
chunks with a few goose chunks for you. I'd serve it even to merchants, if there were any around.
The meal is warm and filling. It's well seasoned and not overcooked.
And like I said, I rarely have food to spare, but feel free to ask if you ever stop by. You may be lucky, and I've been cooking my whole life.
Thank you.
And how did that old hook of mine work out for you? I see you still have your hands.
I give him the hook. I'm fine. He takes the tools from you and nods.
Need anything else?
Oh, right. That replenished my nourishment. I was like, why am I not healing from all the food I just ingested, even though I have a bar for food? And I even read how you restore vitality. Why is the food not restoring my health? Well, since I did you a solid and you did me a solid, I feel like we have built rapport with each other enough for you to be able to tell me some things about Asterion. I'm looking for Asterion.
Are you now?
He goes to the table and invites you to sit down with him.
I don't think I'm going to be of much help.
He rests his elbow on the table top and grunts quietly to clear his throats. His multiple throats. He is a very strong and sturdy man with multiple forms of redundancy to be able to survive even the most vicious of attacks.
But I want you to find him, so...
When asked about his intentions, he measures his words.
Asterion and I made a risky deal. Well, a promising one. Last time he was here, he took 50 coins.
50?
My half of the investment. He knocks on the table with a fist, anxiously. If you get my coin, or at least find out what happened to the guy, I'll make sure you won't be disappointed after bringing me the news.
Could it be that Asterion just scammed you? He looks at the window and starts to play with a shutter.
I just think Asterion isn't the kind of soul that would do such a thing. For him, it wasn't much of a fortune, and I'd risk saying he had earned my trust. Not only mine, you know. It's easy for a Roadwarden to make connections. He always had places to go, things to take care of.
He rubs the table with his thumb, as if trying to clean an invisible stain.
I've asked travelers. I've sent a couple of my pals to find him. No real news. I know he stayed in White Marshes for a day and was meant to do something for the people there. It's a village in the northwest. Just stay on the main road until you reach the bogs, then enter them. You may get there before dusk. So, let me know once you find anything, and we may yet return to this whole investment thing.
I'll think about it. He nods.
What else do you need?
Any rumors worth sharing? He crosses his arms.
I don't like to talk about people who ain't nearby.
That is a good rule of thumb.
Show me first that you're someone worth changing habit for.
He doesn't trust me enough to share any gossip. Fair enough, but I did get fed. Is it possible to rest in some capacity or another? Ooh, wrong button. About Glaucia's band. He freezes, observing your hand silently. He wants me to get an answer from the mayor. I'm on it. Okay. That's all I need for now. I head to the armorer. You walk past the well and find a small open shed not unlike the stable, but with a humble set of tables, carving tools, hammers, sharpening stones, pincers, knives, and other tools. As long as something can be solved by brute force, this place will find a way to do so, and that is a sentiment after my own heart. There are two people sitting on a long bench. The first one is a male with maybe inch-long hair, a cleanly shaven face, a thin, long yellow tunic, bare legs, and sandals. He ignores your presence, sewing a gambeson with great concentration. The second person is a boy, maybe 15, who's wearing the crude outfit of a farmer. He glances at you, but soon returns to sharpening a long dagger. Greetings! The man raises his head, but it's the boy who speaks, focused on his task.
He ain't talking.
He ain't talking. Tell him what it is you need. I'm from Brooklyn, you see. The man smiles in confirmation, looks at the piece of garment in his hands, then looks around, shrugs, and returns to you with a raised eyebrow. Could you patch my clothes if they were torn? He shakes his head and points at the uneven seams on his own tunic. Then grabs a crude bone needle and shows you its broken head. He wouldn't even if he had the...
He wouldn't even if he had the tool, see?
Says the boy.
But you can try Howler's Dell or Gale Rocks.
Immediately upon realizing these people cannot benefit me in any way, I leave. You return to the courtyard. You hear the clinking of tools coming from the armorer's workshop. Even though he was sewing a gambeson. Oh well. I don't... Oh yeah, I can travel, but... Is waiting... I guess I shouldn't... Decisions. Journal. Glossary. Is there... Traveling. Wrath of the herds. Magic. Blood magic. People who can't develop efficient magical skills can substitute them with the power held in human blood. Oh boy. The possibilities of this discipline are potentially limitless. As long as one can perform the correct ritual and supply it with the required energy, even a child would be able to use blood sorcery to summon an earthquake. Ah, so it's a crutch. However, this source of power is very inefficient. One can achieve minor results by cutting their skin and using their own blood, but greedy blood mages sacrifice human lives or collect the supplies from captives held on the verge of death. According to the stories, Adir, the first emperor, executed a mage who had murdered hundreds of people just to cast a single spell, turning them into an army of the undead. Rites tables explicitly forbid any sort of blood magic, though for some pagans there are times when using it is excusable. Fascinating. So blood magic works by literally using blood as fuel, so it's taboo by virtue of needing to draw out the blood of multiple people just to cast a single spell. Of course, complexities in what the spell is come to mind, but at the same time, very fascinating. In last epoch, I just siphoned the blood from my enemies, and also my own, and can somehow generate an infinite supply of the stuff. It's not even a resource. Oh, I can actually go back and go to the other direction. Enter the inn. I can't wait at the inn. I go outside. Can I wait here? Wait for... Is it a worthwhile thing to spend an entire day here with the idea that I can restore some vitality? Considering I'm barely standing, I think it is very much in character to do that, so I'm going to Wait until evening. It's getting late. Better to look for a safe place to sleep. Enter the inn. Sleep. Ah. Oh, very good. Sleeping on a bench, sleeping in a room. I can actually spend one of my bone coins. The new hip currency in the medieval era. A comfy bed with a clean blanket and an isolated chamber. You'll also get a large breakfast, a wash tub with water and soap. And some clothes to wash your teeth. Definitely. I feel like this is very much a worthwhile endeavor to pursue. You hear a thunderous roar. You rise to your feet and rub the sleep from your eyes. The doors are opening. People are shouting orders and words of warning. As you open the window, you see what's behind the commotion. Something is on the other side of the wall trying to get through, and the guards are fighting it off with their torches, spears, and crossbows. Action! In my wholesome Christian traveling game? Thanks to their light, you see the large furry paws placed on top of the wall walk. As far as you can tell, the beast is but a single leap away from getting inside. It's not their first night. They know what they're doing. I'm gonna go help them because, hey, it's a commotion. I can't sleep anyway. I can't just turn my head and ignore this, so I'm gonna go help. Might as well. Look for your gambeson and blade, still a bit foggy in your thoughts, and once you find them, you struggle to get inside the jacket. As your habits kick in, you see the innkeeper right in front of you holding a candle.
You're a guest. Stay here,
he says without a shadow of hesitation.
My team has no time to worry about outsiders.
Just after his words, you hear a cheerful laughter from the wall. Judging by the way they point their fingers and lower their weapons, the beast is fleeing. Oh, fair enough. They solved it on their own. Good job. Good job, squad. Well, I shouldn't expect people will need my help all the time, but it is important to offer it if the situation looks like they would benefit from it. So I feel like that was a random event that may have gone really poorly. Look at me, I have 2 vitality and 3 appearance. People are more willing to trust you. You're clean and tidy. Oh, I love it. Cleanliness is very important. The small room is quiet and far away from unwanted eyes. You take a calm bath, rest on a soft mattress, look through the window, and enjoy the minutes of safety. In the morning, you find a stool with a large wooden plate bearing an aromatic breakfast, 2 boiled eggs, and a cup of buttermilk, and some Ibex offals. Downstairs, the innkeeper is putting firewood into the stove. He asks you if you need anything. No, thank you, innkeeper. I feel very engaged with this game so far. Wait. What? You step outside. Dave is napping. At this hour, the armorer's workshop is closed. Fair enough. It is very early in the morning, but I can actually rest. Is it worthwhile to rest? What happens when I click rest? Resting at the inn. You'll spend the entire day taking care of smaller chores and allowing your shell and soul to rest. And this costs me nothing. Sure. I don't feel comfortable having such low health. It's been a lazy day. Repairing your equipment and taking care of your mount didn't take nearly as much time as you expected, and you instead enjoy some refreshing water, observe your surroundings with a clear head, wander about, and stretch about. After a few hours, you feel rather bored. Boredom is good. But at least you have an opportunity to gather your thoughts. Some of the hunters occupied the watchtower, while the rest of the group went after some big game beyond the walls. Ooh. What's the panic about? Mr. A _ Valkyrie's _ kiss. Sitting beneath an open window, 3 guards are arguing about something, but then ease the tension with friendly banter. The innkeeper is sitting behind the counter, cutting vegetables. Time to go outside. Alright, I feel like I've lazed about. You feel pretty well. People are willing to trust you. You're well fed. These are the perfect statisticals. Time to travel. On the open road we go. The road uphill. Always panic, never be normal. The most important thing is balance. Sometimes normalcy is important. Right, the road uphill meanders, slowing you down and forcing you to pay close attention, not only to the shadows of the trees, but also to the tight, rocky passages. Panic! Time to panic! We have 1 bar of health missing. Something's gonna one-tap us. I can feel it. Dave, hold me. I feel like I'm about to weep. Where were we? You can't help but notice a few caves and fine ambush spots. I like this Roadwarden. He's very keen and aware of the circumstances befalling the road. I keep an eye out for any sign of life. Should keep an eye out for danger. Hey look, walls. New entry, the ruined village. Seek shelter. Standing in front of the gate, you hear no voices, no tools at work, no steps. Dozens of birds live among the collapsed roofs. Their fluttering, singing, and squawking is free of worries. If you want to travel any further, you need to ride around the palisade. Searching the ruins may take a lot of time. The broken gate in the north will lead you to the village. The sound of a gentle river reaches you from the east, where you see a saggy fence surrounding an overgrown pasture. Behind the burned building in the east, you see an oddly barren field. I do not need shelter. Oh, my beautiful inventory. Where the archive? No. Journal, that's the thing I need. Groups and places. Bandits camp. A group responsible for robbing travelers and settlements in the peninsula. They are led by a woman named Glossia. Right. I'm going to take a closer look at the gate. It's time to investigate. The palisade is in good shape, and the entrance wasn't even touched by the fire. It was torn away, possibly thrown. The amount of used force must have been huge, but you'd expect that it would push the gate into the village, not away from it. You don't see any marks of a dragon bite. A troll could toss such planks, but after so many years, you see no paw prints. A mage? You can't really tell. I approached a building near the field. The broken logs and planks are charred, while the wooden walls are rotted and covered in moss. You see no ashes or dust, proving that the fire happened long ago. The smell is awful, and there are no reasons to stay for long. You see no furniture, just some broken shelves. It was just a storage room. The valuable odds and ends were already taken by scavengers. I move forward. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to kill? Well, if everything's been knick-knacked away, let's go to the southwest part of the village. The buildings, some of which have collapsed, are made of wood, now charred and rotten. You spot claw marks on the walls, especially close to the doors and window frames. They could belong to a dragonling or a large wolf, larger than the gray ones, or a corpse eater. Too many options to take a guess, yet no beast remains in sight. You find the remains of clothes, furniture, odds and ends. Only one object seems to be of use. A basket-like fish trap made of vines and willow branches. If a large fish swims into it, it won't be able to get out on its own. It's quite large, but I can't fit it on my saddle. And I journal. Bestiary, what was it called? Corpse eater? Basket case. Yes. Corpse eaters. These hairless, scaleless creatures resemble constantly stooped apes, but their limbs and torsos are extremely thin, as if there are barely any muscles to them. While they're nimble, their limited strength turned them into scavengers. They rarely move in packs. Right's followers preach that corpse eaters should be purged from the Dragonwoods, no matter the cost. A famous tale from the tablets describes the ancient home of these beasts, the Shadow Vale. They hunted and devoured any human they could find, and woke up their undead shells right away, even without a fog. Countless expeditions, even from days before the 10 cities, were meant to wipe them out in the woods. There's still more to learn about them. So, the first paragraph made me think Wendigos. Then the beginning of the second paragraph made me think, made me distance myself from that thought, and then the final paragraph just confirmed these are Wendigos. Cannibals turned ghoulish monstrosities. I can't wait to fight one in combat. Right. It's quite large, but I can't fit it on my saddle. The basket-like fish trap. The basket case. The iconic basket case. You feel unease in your organs. Let's go to the main square. Beautiful. Oh, the pixel art. It is simply to die for. In every village, the main square is the fanciest area, meant to charm the travelers. I'm a traveler, charm me, square. Even though you're circular in nature. Yet this is way more than you expected. The houses are as big as in Hovleven, and the paved ground took a lot of work and materials. The walls, now charred and riddled with holes, are made of an expensive coated wattle. The tiles for the roofs also had to be brought here from a different settlement. So this is a fancy place, or at least it used to be before it was destroyed by an unknown means, potentially corpse eaters. We'll see. You peek inside the 3 smaller buildings, the rotting remains of their former splendor. The birds living in dozens of nests respond to your arrival with quite a commotion. You don't find even a single dragon bone, nor a tool or a piece of furniture left unbroken or unrotten. You're surrounded by bad smells, dirt, animal droppings, and garbage. Wow. I love this music as well, very ambient. Yes, the music is quite the delight as well. Even though when I speak I can't hear it, but then when I can hear it when I speak I think it's too loud, so it's difficult for me to ascertain the correct volumes for these things. But if you can hear the music well enough to comment on it, I'm going to assume that the levels of my speaking and the game's audio are good enough. And I shall carry onwards. Speaking of carrying onwards. And you get a shout out because you're cool. You're one of my first followers, and I very much appreciate everything you've done so far. So thank you for being in here and being a presence. Very nice. Right. The well also stinks. It has no bucket, but you'd be afraid to use it anyway. Who knows how many birds have relieved themselves inside. Oh, thank you. Thank you! Or how many old rats have found their death while climbing up the walls? Question mark. Suddenly, you hear some sounds coming from the largest building. Your stomach makes you let out a painful groan. I should check it out. I prepare my axe. I am healthy enough to engage in combat. You step cautiously toward the scent of urine and sweat. The flickering candlelight shows you broken furniture, yet no signs of burnt wood. You consider pulling the other door when a masculine voice proves that your presence is not unnoticed. I dinna wanted to come to this, but stay where you are. Wherever you put inside, be it a shoe, a hand, or your damn thinker, it'll get a bolt. Angry enough to swing my axe. Don't hurt me, I'm not looking for trouble, I'm a Roadwarden. Relax, stranger, I'm a Roadwarden. I'm a Roadwarden, so I kind of need my thinker. Will the boot be enough? I don't think the response to being threatened is a jovial jest, but... I think being distanced is good. I'm the new Roadwarden. Let us speak in camaraderie terms. Well, we can talk, we can, but how is it that you choose this place to visit from all there are? He goes on before you respond. It may be you're telling the truth, so let's say this. My little ballista here is all pulled and ready, but you won't do anything stupid, right? No running, no jumping around, show your hands. The man's voice lacks confidence and his accent is tricky for you. He could be from the distant south, but as long as you don't speak too quickly, you understand one another. You don't hear any other movements, breathing, voices. You lean your axe against the doorframe and make sure that your knife is well hidden. I walk inside. The dense smell of piss hits you with full force, while the tools and utensils are hard to distinguish from the rubbish. The route to the upper floor is blocked by the collapsed roof and loose wooden beams. There are scraps of rusting iron and steel on the ground, detached from now destroyed barrels. The scavenger is sitting on a blanket in front of the tent, pointing at the floor with his loaded crossbow. Not a short man, though a bit skinny. He's tanned, dark-haired, and has seen his share of struggles. There are long claw scars on his left cheek, and another one that would divide his eyebrows in half if it hadn't been consumed by a fire, just like the rest of his forehead. His clothes are untainted by vanity. He's barefoot, in a dirty linen shirt, with rolled-up sleeves and simple pants that use a cord for a belt. His long beard and hair are untrimmed and tangled. I stand near the door watching his weapon. I'm prepared. I sit on the stairs with raised hands. Considering he wasn't very confident, I don't think he intends to hurt me. I think he just intends to defend himself, so if I'm showing him that I'm not a threat, he should calm down. I'm not a threat. You wipe the dust off the steps, but before you sit down, you hear the man's annoyed voice. Nah, don't get too homey. It's the only place here that's not just ashes and debris. And I'm not sharing it. You better ride ahead. I already piled up wherever hasn't rotten. The candle lights are dancing on his burnt face and arms. He moves his crossbow just enough to make sure he won't shoot you by accident. I saw your horse. Maybe you could help me. What are you looking for in this place? You don't sound like you're from the north. I've heard about some bandits. They could have a hideout nearby.
Nah. I think they're in the north or east. I stuck to the western road and no shell bothered me. Sorry, I can't help you. Listen.
He scratches his thighs nervously.
I'm hungry. So damn hungry. I can't hunt or fish with all the ape men around. Can you share anything, Roadster? I may be a drifter, but I wouldn't beg if I hadn't lost my bags on the road.
Contemplations. Contemplations of a Roadwarden type. I do need to save it for myself, and I may have something later on. But since he's so hungry, I feel like gruel should be good enough. Yeah, so take some cereal and crackers. You can make something. You gave away a food ration. I will survive. He lets out a relieved breath.
I may even boil it.
After a moment of hesitation, he grabs a cracker.
Without you, I would have to run after birds with my ballista. But I need to save the bolts for the ape men. And because of those stinkers, I can't roast here. And the raw meat makes me want to puke. Thank you.
After a couple of solid bites, he puts your gifts in 2 wooden bowls.
Now, Roadster,
he says with a mouthful.
If you have questions, ask. I'll say a lot to make you get me out of here.
How do you keep the goblins away? Is that what ape men are? Journal, I must consult with you. Apes and monkeys. Furry critters. Goblins. Where's the goblins? Goblins. Goblins are furry in this game. These furry critters can move both on 2 legs and on all 4s. And while they resemble apes, they spend most of their time on the ground, capable of hunting for their prey and seeking new temporal shelters. Okay, so goblins, I see. I want to murder, punch, kill. So how do you keep the goblins away?
I've got a trick or two to keep me safe. A little something that scares them away even without magic, but I tell you what.
His smile turns into a wide grin.
Help me get out of here and I'm going to share some of it with you.
Alright. I think this is a noble enough quest. I am pretending to be a paladin, even though I am mostly a Roadwarden is literally just a guard of the path, so I'm a reverse highwayman, which I think is quite noble. Do you have any idea what happened here? I'm curious about the destroyed backstory of this place.
Well, I won't guess, but I saw many ruins. There's no treasure and skeletons here. So this place means as much as dirt. Someone was barking too loud, so the beasts broke through and made them quiet again.
He clicks his tongue.
And that's that. Talking about nature's fury brings bad luck, don't you know?
And definitely sensing the vibes of nature is very strong and does not hold back against the human race in this game. Very nice. I'm looking for another Roadwarden. You definitely don't know, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Aye, I've never met him. But I surely heard his name many times. He vanished long before I got to the coast. At first people were asking about him, now they think he's dead.
Alright. I'm going to assume he's already scavenged the whole place. I should ask him what he wants. Where do you want to travel now, and what will you give me for my help?
Let me explain for a sight. I was in Howler's Dool, the closest village to the east and north.
and people there are nice, you know. Not like old pagos. They're all boring and grimmer than a crow. But they're cry doing for everything. They're cry coin for everything. And I'm good coin. I left wanted to look around the ruins. I see if there's anything left. Then move to Pelt and hire the hunters to help me here. No luck. A bunch of griffs jumped me packbird. I just bought it. He spits on the floor. Fast and nimble, but brave enough to listen to me when all that screeching and scratching started. So I ran away with my bags. A few fell on the ground and I pulled them here, but you see how it is. I won't travel around with a tent on my back. He taps the crossbow with his fingers. I need maybe a day more, just a day. But I'll have all the iron scrap from the barrels so I can move forward. But I can't take all my stuff alone. And without me around, the ape men are going to break in and steal all my shit. Steal all my shite. I need to stay here, but since you have a horse, come back tomorrow and help me return the Howlers do. What about it? I just need to know that the road is safe as can be. Right. Where's my pen? I need to write things down even more. Notes. Journal notes. That's a note. Go back to the ruined village in a day and get the skinny man. Right. I don't work for free. I love charity, but I've already given this guy shit, so... this is work at this point, so... I have ways to pay you, don't you worry. I can give you dragons. But I have to sell the iron first, so I'll need a bit of time, you see. 5 for a short escort would be plenty, I'd say. But if you want, I'll give you a secret jar of mine. The internet has ruined the concept of jars for me. A very fine mixture that scares ape men away. Works on pebblers too. Oh, so that's the thing that he uses to scare away the goblinoids. When you ask all of this, when you ask if all of this stench of urine is somehow related to this potion, he just winks and chuckles. He clicks his heels together in a very friendly fashion. He is a master of jarate. I'd also like to learn more about the villages you've visited. He seems surprised. I mean, aye, sure, but I don't have connections there, you know, just my eyes. He starts to hum. You know, a longer pause. When you get the Howlers, you'll meet the mayor there. For sure, Thighs. Thighs. I'm gonna pronounce it Thighs from now on. And whatever you do, don't ask her where she got her coins from, aye. She's rich, stupid rich, but don't ask her how this happened. Trust me. He scratches his beard with a mournful look. What exactly do you want me to do? I need you to make sure there's no danger hiding on the road from here to Howlers. Or rather, I know there is some danger, but as long as you get me there safely and safely return, I'm sure we can handle some roaming monsters. He theatrically rubs his hands together. This ballista has hit more beast skulls than I have fingers, and I've never lost a finger, Roadster. Only the toes. Oh, I love this guy. Maybe, maybe to prove it, he starts to count on his fingers. So, see if the road there is clear, then come here tomorrow. I'll pack my stuff on your horse and move out. But don't come when it's close to evening. And don't come when it's evening either. We're going to need 3 hours on our feet, and I won't push through the night. Even sleeping next to an ape-man tribe is safer, he chuckles. And don't make me wait for too long. I can wait for a couple of days if I find some food, but if you don't get back, I'll have to risk it no matter what. This is a determined man, it would seem. 0 hours before dusk. Have I spent all my time already? Fascinating. So go to the guy, but not at night. Fine, it's a deal. Thanks, Roadster. Just come tomorrow. I'll make it worth your time. Sure. Time to leave. I feel like this is... I return to the scavenger's camp. Oh, right, he's the scavenger. Right, I feel like I've done enough. Seek shelter. So... It's too dangerous to stay here. You can't sleep here, but there's still time to move to a safer spot. You can find the closest shelter at Pelt of the North, but the creatures at night are surely going to attack you. Traveling. Why can't I continue traveling? Your stomach makes you let out a painful groan because it's stinky and burned here. What to do? What to do? Explore the northwest part of the village. The colorful grass covers the entire fenced pasture. The large stone placed in the middle suggests it could be a playground for ibexes. Or maybe it's just an old garden. You see a couple of small sheds, a latrine, and a single building to the south, completely burnt down. All these places were cleaned out by scavengers. Dave doesn't want to approach the large ruins in the north. The terrible stench of feces and rotting food scares you off as well. The paths are covered with goblin footprints. Ah, so that's where the ape men reside, I guess. I go somewhere else quietly. The closer you are to the village, the longer you stay around, the sicker you feel. The taste of gastric juices hits your mouth, your forehead hurts, you start to stumble. Dave, worried by the sight, pokes your head with its nose. I cannot travel. You can't travel at night. You need to be somewhere safe by nightfall. How much time do you have? It says nighttime. So, none. I walk away from the walls. Leaning on your mount, you go outside, keeping your mouth shut. After a few minutes, your eyes get clear. It may be better to leave or at least stay away from the village for the rest of the day. I agree. But how do I get out? It is night, so I should sleep. But I cannot travel. Oh, what the fuck just happened? What did I just do? Oh, I guess I... Oh, wow. I presume what happened is I forced travel by night, and the night monsters obliterated me. And now my health is back to square bad. Very unfortunate circumstances. The lights are promising a refuge. The guards have bows and spears. They tell you to wait, observing the area and open the gate carefully. Bored. No, it's... Oh, wait, no, I'm back at 9 time. Bored with life, Roadwarden? One of them grumbles. Hadn't you noticed it's already dark? Oh, I see. Okay, so I did travel by night. I get off my horse and apologize. I need slumber. Oh, I just realized that it's show me your wares and do I have anything you'd like to buy? I'm just going to sleep.
Definitely going to rent a room, but I'm running out of coins very quickly, but I feel like this is a necessary evil. Like most people, you wake up in the middle of almost every night. Before your second sleep comes, you spend an hour or two taking care of your belongings, shell and soul. Some people spend this time with their friends, families, or lovers, but your routine is different. If you don't have to take care of essential tasks, I check on Dave. Sorry I had to go for a bit there. Did you travel too far? I believe what happened is I ran out of time in the day, and I forcibly traveled to the inn during the night, and it completely destroyed me. I lost an appearance and 3 vitality points. So that is what happened. So I really should keep an eye on the timers. Check on the horse. The horse is my rightful companion. So now I've restored at least 1 health. I guess I spent the entirety of the time talking to the piss jar man. And that killed my entire day. I guess I need to be faster. Is there anything for me you'd like to buy? We pull out some items, but the innkeeper shakes his head. I don't need those.
I don't need those, nor could I sell them to anyone. I'd rather make coins than waste them, so bring me something of value.
Nah, that's all I need. And I've already... Wait, but it's a new day, so I do actually have a day, but then I need to travel to the thing. So... I am cleaner. I am clean and tidy, but I did destroy my health. Travel... Oh. So I can't go this way? Travel to... Oh, I see. Fascinating. Okay, go this way. The curvy road east is overgrown. Dave trots when it has a chance, but more often walks. Yeah, this game can be a struggle, though you can get a roll going. Do you want some advice? Advice is welcome. Whether or not I make use of it is a different matter, so if you have wisdom to share, you are welcome to share it. The nearby lake is surrounded by thirsty wildlife. I observe the dark forest, ready to react if something jumps at me. So that is an hour and 15 minutes spent. A couple of stone slabs were turned into a hut-like shape, one of the ancient chapels raised by the priest of the United Church in the days of few soldiers and even fewer shelters. The dolmens proved to be especially durable, though the conditions they offered were harsh. The entrance is barely wide enough to let you walk inside. It was meant to keep larger beasts away, including your palfrey. You can't spend the night here. You dismount and look around. I approach the hourglass carved into the stone. It's the most common religious sign of the city folk, adapted by the United Church, Orders of Truth, and the majority of fellowships. It's used in temples and during funeral rite, but also to decorate codices or jewelry. The wing and hourglass portray the ephemerality of life, and the rigidity of time. When possible, they're made of steel, signifying the strength of humankind's determination and innovation. Ephemeral is a beautiful word and also the name of a song from one of my favorite bands, Insomnium. I never knew that the word ephemerality existed, though, but it does make sense.
As a member of an order of truth, you should bow before the hourglass to honor the brave builders of the past. It's but a sign, trying to protect an obsolete building. I step away. I have principles. You stay in front of the symbol, lowering your head and gathering your thoughts. You try... I've already spent 15 minutes on that. You try to imagine the struggles of the valiant builders who put their time, sweat, and blood into gathering, shaping, and transforming these huge rocks. They were led by a vision, one that requires artistry, planning, the sense of shared purpose. They did it for the sake of the future generations and even the names of the forgotten. They saved many lives. The orders teach to be thankful for such sacrifices. In your silent prayer, nature seems both distant and complementary. It doesn't shape itself around your thoughts, but you feel like nothing is going to hurt you. Not while you are here. For a while, you balance between chaos and order. So be it, you say at the end of your prayer, as the tradition has taught you. The birds are singing delightfully. After my prayer, I fuck off. Dave is listening to the leaves carefully. Enter the chapelle. There is nothing here. I think I've spent enough time here already, so... Leave. Can I keep traveling? Yes. Yes, keep traveling. Keep the travels going. The neglected path barely finds any space among the hills, trees, and streams. There's a deer on the ground, lying in a red puddle, surrounded by a small pack of creatures which notice your presence quickly. There's about 8 of them, with thick furs in shades of brown, gray, and black, and hairless faces with small eyes and large mouths. Currently stained by the blood of their prey, some of them move on all fours, while others comfortably stand on 2 feet. They are 2 to 3 heads shorter than you, but it's your mount which truly towers over them. And you see how a couple of beasts take a few steps back, grunting and glancing at one another. Ape men, goblins. The one with grey fur shouts, and the others move towards the rocks and sticks which are piled on the road. They hold them awkwardly, and some struggle to maintain a straight posture, leaning on their new weapons for support. Then almost all of them spread to your left and right, blending with the shrubs shrubs loudly. Only 2 of the apes are standing still. Consider a day the primary unit you can spend. Typically, you would want to start the day in a shelter, travel to an objective, do the thingy, and go back. Alternatively, you can spend the entire day traveling or resting, morning to evening. Yes, I am starting to think and tailor my playthrough towards that line of thinking. I need to be very aware of this, because I feel like all that health was stolen from me. Grab my axe and hold the reins tightly. I have an axe. Use violence or a direct threat. Dave tries to turn around, but loyally follows your directions. Use violence or a direct threat. Violence! Ah, there's the violence. They're going to surround me soon. It's time to act. I charge at the goblins in the middle of the room. I scream at the pack, shaking my weapon. I try to scare them away. I throw them some food. I'm going to start screaming. What is it the chat said earlier? Panic? Time to scream. Fuck. You do your best, raising your voice in a fierce shout and showing that you're ready to take them down. The Grey Goblin seems unmoved, showing you its long tusks and swinging its arms. Noticing when the sun is at midday and half of your time is spent is a good signal that it might be time to go back. That is a very fine piece of advice to give me. It seems to be a similar notion to don't starve, where you definitely need to be keenly aware of the day, otherwise you die! It's not a terrible thing to restart. I did so as well. You aren't too far in. That is true. This is only the first stream, but I very much like what I see, so I feel like this is the type of game that will not dissuade me the minute I perish and I enter the game over state. Because I feel like there is so much already that if I die, I can start over and make completely new choices and see what the world has to offer me with different choices. So, yes, this is definitely keep going and see runs type of gambit. The game is super interesting. Hello, Coleslaw. Welcome. I am also super interested by this game. It is giving me a lot of very immersive storytelling that I can definitely get behind. That's very true. Thank you for agreeing. Streaming is funny. I am noticing OBS telling me that I have dropped frames. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to pretend like it's not important. Right. Where was I? The unmoved, long tusk and swinging its arms, but its younger companion looks around, grunting, then jumps into the bushes. The gray one looks after it, but then focuses its attention on you, or rather, something that's just behind you. Then, you get stabbed in the back. Literally. You turn around, seeing a goblin that, as far as you can tell, was not a part of the group surrounding the carcass. It's holding a wooden spear, or rather a pointed stick, longer than the creature is tall. Your armor was able to reduce the impact, but you feel the pain from the hit. And you can tell that your linen was torn. You'll need to find someone to be able to fix it. Oh boy. You wonder how many of them are still hiding among the trees. Nature is kicking my ass! I can't win, and I can't run away. I rush Dave forward. Oh boy, quite the sticky wicket I have entranced myself in, haven't I? Your mount speeds up, though it doesn't have enough space to enter a gallop. You prepare your weapon, but while you may have hundreds of hours of training behind you, hardly any of them happened in the saddle. Oh. That is a very important note for the future, because I had the option to dismount and fight them earlier. I should have taken that option. You do your best to focus. The other goblin didn't return, but the gray one manages not only to jump aside, but also to bounce off the landing spot and grab your boot. It's now trying to keep up with your speed, making one long leap after another. The first strong swing of your axe wasn't able to reach the target. A spear would do better in this scenario. I'm going to follow the advice of a giant purple man with a funny glove, and I'm going to aim for the head. Oh, finally. A lucky swing of your axe hits its skull, not only crushing the bone, but also pushing it out of your way. It rolls over the road, and your mount runs faster. Still riding, you shake the blood off your blade. Your leg is free. The road is clear. I have survived the sort of ambush. We ride as fast as we can. Onward, Dave, to freedom! A few more moments, you hear the angry shouts and screeches, but soon after that, it's again only you and your mount. Time to see what we're going to find down the road. I see what the scavenger meant by being able to make it through the road, to and fro. Ah. So, the midpoint would be 7.5 hours.
A round pine tree blocks the road for a wayfarer walking over the thin branches, and the top is not much of an issue. Even Dave, led on a rope, could walk around the stump. But a large wagon couldn't move forward in one piece. At least not without detaching the mules, unpacking the wares, and moving everything by hand. Cutting a tree into pieces would take hours, even with proper tools, and you can't hope to move it with just the muscles that you and your mount have to offer. That's because I'm barely standing. I consider washing myself in the river. Can I do that? The river is full of life. Not only a bit brown and greenish, but also smelling of algae. It won't help you much. The oak ash soap you own can help you get cleaner. I step away. Oh, I can actually get food, yes. I'll spend some time setting up a fish trap at the bank. That was half an hour gone. You place the basket on the ground, then grab a bowl and start digging, looking for a few larger worms. You bait the stick and push it inside the basket, locking it between the sides, then cover the entrance with the lid. Tying it together it takes you a few good moments, but will be easier later on. You tie the rope on a rock and push it into the river, far enough that it sinks entirely. Who knows how long it'll take before something large enough swims inside. Still, it would be better to not wait for too long, otherwise the prey may die of hunger. So oh wait, no, I can move, but caravans can't move. I want to look around. What do you want to investigate? Oh, this is lovely. Look at all these options you got. It really is a text-based adventure. Like, it's so much effort has gone into every single one of these ideas. Like, what do you want to look at? The tree, the stump, the wagon, yourself? I don't know what happened here. The road. The road is here. The road here is already being overgrown, fading away. But it's in no worse shape than the other parts of the southeastern route. No alternate path has formed around the blockade. I think I know what happened here. Take a look at the tree. The leaves are not completely dry, and when you break one of the twigs, it still contains water. There are no signs of sickness that you can recognize. Beneath the trunk, there's no blood, no abandoned limbs. No gravely abandoned limbs. Wagon. The planks are still firm, and there is no mustiness in the air, but the vehicle needs just a push to fall to pieces, like a child's toy with nothing to keep the parts together. There are ways to construct the wagon with just wood, leather, and fiber, but you find the marks of hinges, braces, nails, and clamps, which are now all gone. The wheels are missing their steel rims. You find only one linen bag. Empty and moist. You can't estimate how deep the tracks are. The ground was hard, so the cart's weight wasn't a significant factor. So, somebody was chopping a tree. Look at the stump. You don't find any marks of a maw or paws. The top is hip-high and unnaturally smooth. You could comfortably sit down on it. Very fascinating. The bushes. You found an arrow. There are no berries left, only broken twigs, fallen leaves, and trampled grass. You noticed a pointy arrow made by a human hand, with a head made of horn and black-orange fletching. You don't know what type of bird would have such feathers. You see no arrow marks around, not even on the wagon. The tracks? In the trampled grass, you find 2 sets of tracks to follow. There are no hoof prints. The first set is near the destroyed wagon. The wayfarer suddenly stopped. You can see where they made a sharp turn. The second trail is close to the tree stump. Most of the marks were left by flat, cheap boots, not suitable for long walks. But someone was wearing hard, wide heels. Both trails avoid the eastern wilderness. They stick to the main road and lead you north. They could have belonged to 24 people, maybe more. You follow them for a bit, but lose them once there's no more mud and tree needles to find. I think I know what happened here. Left it behind. It was attacked by highwaymen. What was originally transported on the wagon? Now that is a question that I don't actually have the answer to. Some valuable merchandise, presumably? What happened to the owners of the wagon? Attacked by highwaymen, its owners were taken north. Are you sure this is most likely what happened? I'm as sure as I can be. Journal updated. The fallen tree. The tree roots tear the path apart. The road is coated with branches, acorns, leaves, and chestnuts, and some seedlings have already broken through the pitted surface of the road. If left undisturbed for another year or 2, the forest will reclaim this place. Finally, you ride upward again. The plants are getting smaller. The road is more rocky. I sigh with relief. Ooh. What time is it? 11. 15 hours until dusk. While the hills are full of life, you don't hear anything coming from the watchtower. Its upper level lacks a wooden platform from which the guards could fire their crossbows or drop stones on the opponents below. So this place was not meant to be used in combat, but rather as a shelter from claws and fangs. Ah, this is man versus nature, rather than structures can be found in especially untamed parts of the Dragon Woods. Used occasionally by travelers or patrolling squads. Since the end of the war, the cities can't find enough people and dragon bones to keep them in good shape. You see no footsteps, no lights, no fresh trash or latrine. The birds are preening their feathers on the top of the tower, while the branches of nearby trees are swaying in the fierce cold wind. I gingerly approach the entrance. You take a look at Dave. If necessary, it could bow its head and walk inside. This place could be a decent shelter for both of you. Ooh. The planks are strong, heavy, and well protected from rain and wind, and when you knock, they seem to be thick. We like them thick. While the door shakes at your push, it won't open. Defensive structures usually have a locking bar on the inner side, but you also see a large keyhole. You walk around the tower, making sure there are no open windows or entrances. It doesn't look like you can get in without destroying the door. And doing so is going to make a potential entryway for wild creatures. I'm too weak to destroy the door. Return to the crossroads. Maybe there's something interesting among the spruce trees. Only the smallest of spruces are out of order, born of wild seeds. The largest trees are as tall as the tower itself, which surely doesn't help those who are meant to observe their surroundings. There are also some stumps, most of which used to belong to young saplings. Saplings. Quite the delightful little thing. These trees were likely meant to be sold to carpenters and coopers, but they were left alone many years ago. In the copse, you find wild fennel and lettuce thriving in shadows, and there are pears. Good God. And there are pears and berries growing among nearby trees and shrubs.
I am learning how to improve my reading comprehension and combine it with my entertainment comprehension and chat comprehension, and there's a lot of different things to juggle, but I am drugging along all the same. Water sustains me. Filtered tap water, to be specific, that is filtered by a company which I would love to be sponsored by, but in this moment of my career, I feel like that is not a reality I can pursue. Moving on. It'll take me 2 hours to travel back to the inn, and I have gained no money on my meager travels. This does not bode well for a rogued scavenger of my being kind, simile, facsimile, profession. This bad. I examined the campfire spot at the fence. You see a shattered bowl! The remains of a meal from many years ago. However, the firewood and the lonely stool are not too old. You don't doubt that the watchtower seems less threatening to wayfarers than the wilderness around it, even when it's locked. Right. The abandoned watchtower. We continue to the Nord. What time is it? With no trees or crags blocking the sun, the road is bright and inviting. The simple bridge is centuries old, bitten by time. It makes you think of the dolmen you saw south of here, and the torrent here is deep and fast, with plenty of fish. The boat is destroyed beyond repair, rotten, falling to pieces, with holes in the floor, and on the sides, overgrown with fungi and moss. You're only 2 hours out from the inn. You have plenty of time left in the day. Just make sure to keep an eye out. Very much will do. Thank you for your advice on the matter. I am definitely constantly eyeing this thing because I am keenly aware of what it will cost to not respect the time. The thick shrubs lining the path are covered with thorns. Small birds are jumping from one twig to another, pecking at the brown berries. You think about picking some of the fruits, but you are not sure if they're edible. And take a closer look at the fish. Let's do a gambit. I look around for an hour or so. Maybe I can find something of use. After what feels like an eternity of searching around the boat, the banks, and the shrubs, you sit down on the bridge and take a break. Then you realize you haven't actually looked beneath it. You kneel on the grass and look into the darkness. Among the cobwebs and bugs, you spot an old piece of fabric pinned under a rock. You pull it out and find a rotting, torn pouch that contains a single dragon bone. You make sure you haven't missed the other ones in the dirt, but if they ever existed, they have been rolled down and sunk for good. Yay, I found a coin. I can use it to pay for my lodging. Throw the pouch away and stand up. +1 coin. I love it. I have achieved something for once as opposed to getting stabbed. Take a closer look at the fish. You see dozens of red and gray shells as you walk by. They stay close, following your steps. Travel. Continue to travel.
The gentle road leads downhill, getting greener and less rocky the further north you get. No. The gentle road leads downhill, getting greener and less rocky the further north you get. Just in case, your eyes run towards a few drier parts of the meadow, and you instantly shouted, "Dave! Make haste!" A pack of short-haired wolves, at least 20 members strong, are chasing after you. Their coats are a mixture of yellow, black, and white spots, as if somebody threw mud and paint at them. They move towards the road with a human-like speed, and you realize only some of them are running straight at you. They're trying to cut through my path. Shit. I can't travel. A random encounter. If it wasn't for your paltry, the beasts would have already caught up with you. Their trap was perfectly set up, not leaving you any path of escape. Your terrified mount is disciplined enough to stay on the beaten path, and even though one of the big-eared wolves almost sinks its teeth into your mount's thigh, you manage to squeeze between the hunters. Dave, you are a lifesaver. I love Dave is hard carrying me, both figuratively and literally. Oh, I love having Dave as a subordinate. Dave is the best subordinate. For the next few minutes, you do your best to get further away, and while your gallop is indeed faster, the wolves easily shorten the distance by moving through the sparse forest. You ride past a wooden cabin placed in the clearing at the bottom of a rock face, but you can't stop while the pack is on your back. The backpack. Maybe something I can use here. Force? Can I use force? I want to use force. Maybe I have something. You think about your sacks and bundles, but the pack won't wait for you to sort things out. The group gets larger the further you go, and even more of its members, previously hidden among the trees and grasses, now join the hunt, allowing their tired family members to slow down. You may be able to lose them after some time, but scaring or wounding some of them may force them to give up on their prey sooner. Dang, you're getting all of the rough ones. Life is a journey, and my journey is fraught with animosity and adversity and things trying to kill me. But that's okay, I am prepared because I have the power of Dave by my side. Ah, my crossbow is ready. You got 2 quarrels left. You reach for the drawn crossbow and a bolt, then locking your sights to the closest creature, you wait until you learn its rhythm, then shoot once it's midair. The arrow flies through the wolf's flesh, causing it to let out a pained cry and plunge into the ground. Its concerned allies howl with fear and anger. While a few of them try to keep up, many more stay behind and surround their pack member, protecting it from potential threats. After another few minutes, you are alone again, this time at the edge of the hills. Dave is tired, but patient, more happy to survive than it is angry at your wanderlust. I'm just traveling around. It's not my fault we get mauled immediately. At least you can hope the pack will move to a different place during the night. I let it rest for a bit and look around. Good lord. The valley is rubble and clay, bearing hardly any soil or weeds. The plants here are struggling. The grass is short and yellowish, sometimes dried out. The bushes have silver leaves like many plants from sunny areas. The mushrooms can't hide in the shadows, but as you approach one, you see it's growing from the remains of a dead bird, while others are covering old branches and other plants. They won't last much longer. It will be easy to spot any larger beasts around. You have to squint to spot the first threatening creature. A runner is in the far east, close to the hills, though it completely ignores you, walking around and observing the grass, looking for its next prey. You don't have to worry about it for now. There are boot prints on the road as well as in the short grass, fresher than any other part of the eastern road. Since many mushrooms were cut away with a knife, and you notice a few berries on the shrubs, you conclude it's a foraging spot for the people from the north, though there doesn't seem to be much food left. There are almost no prints leading farther south.
Journal. Bestiary.
Runners. Oh, pebblers. Oh, pebblers are a thing. Like most people, you farmers across the Dragonwoods. They can be as big as a house and maybe just as heavy. From time to time, pebblers look for some unusual tastes, like meat or honey, which can encourage them to bother human settlements. Once they get used to a specific spot, like an unfenced farm or a forest garden, getting rid of them may be a huge endeavor. There are but a few blades able to cut through their thick skin and durable bones, and a single mistake may put them into a furious charge, and then encourage them to look for human dwellings to tear them down in revenge. Fascinating. So what are runners? These birds are usually larger and taller than humans, but there's not many of them. Travelers often encounter these creatures near the roads. Oh, it's a road runner. But they also do well in the woods. Their beaks are as large as a human head, and their strong necks allow them to easily get through their prey's skin. An unarmed soul would never be able to hurt one of them, but blades, especially those made of steel, pierce them easily. So it's a giant murder chicken. Fascinating. Alright. Let's forage for a bit. I am very well fed. You let Dave keep itself busy while you walk around, looking for anything edible. It takes a fair bit of time. You don't plan to carry around raw mushrooms and bugs, and the wild vegetables need to be washed before you put them in your bags. You finally find a few handfuls of plants, fruits, and nuts. Next time, however, it's not going to be so easy. Both taller and wider than you, observes you carefully, at first from a distance, then circling around you. After about half an hour, you hear its piercing screech. As the creature runs at you, shaking a beak larger than your head, you throw everything into a sack and get on the saddle. I should avoid this place while the beast is hanging around. I have 4 hours to travel to the inn. Yeah, I think it's a good spot to go to the inn. I feel like that's enough monstrous creatures nipping at my heels. Yep. Oh, can I clean myself at the well? No. I enter the inn. I do need something. I need shelter. But I can't sleep yet. And I cannot wait. Oh, I can go outside and wait. I'm going to go outside and wait. I don't want to disturb you. Evening. I can now sleep. Go in the inn. Sleep. Oh, I see. Hold on. So, 3 hours before dusk is when you can sleep. And you have a buffer zone for 3 hours. In case you're in a rough situation. I'm starting to get the hang of this game. It's very intuitive. I like that. Right. Sleeping. My coinage is becoming low, but, you know, the comforts of health and clean living. The sounds of rain wake you up briefly. Before you return to sleep, you think about your plans. Riding in the mud is difficult. Dave will have a rough time, especially on the unpaved grounds. It may be a good day to take a break at the inn. Oh, because it's raining, there's more obstacles on the road. Dynamically changing environments. It's a calm, warm night. As your first sleep ends, you stretch out and prepare yourself for an active hour or two. It's time to take care of some things that must be done at least once every few days, though they are a bit more challenging than your nightly routine. It's time for my training. I practice cuts, stances, dodges, and steps, but also inspect every blade I own. I am well rested and I am clean and tidy. And I can spend the day resting. You should take a break. You know what, game? I think that is an excellent point, and I am going to take your advice. Because I feel like this is a good point to stop for today. It's been a lovely 3 minutes and 3 hours and 40 minutes. I've been streaming for 3 minutes. Thank you for stopping by for these 3 minutes, everybody. But yes. Let us see. Quick save. And then let us... quit. And now we go into the ending screen. This is the ending screen. It's a funny little ending screen. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful music made by the lovely Dimitron, who has both made music personally and custom tailored to me, and also allowed me to use his repository of already existing songs. So, very nice lad. We must find out who to raid, how to raid, and what to raid. These are challenges for me as an early streamer. No! Unfortunately, please, we need more. Well, you can enjoy the merits of another stream tomorrow. Because tomorrow I will be streaming the exact same thing at the exact same time. But being a brand new streamer who has exactly 4 streams, this one included, under his belt, I need to practice streaming for longer times. And essentially just need to get the hang of it. And so unfortunately for now, the most I can muster seems to be 3 hours and 30 minutes before I feel the fatigue set in and my vision gets blurry and my hands get numb and weird. I don't understand what's going on, but I'm doing my best to combat it. Anyway, I should definitely put a cool model on this screen as soon as I get a cool model. Again, expect that to happen. Eventually, I have made the model, I just need to rig it now, so soon I shall cast away the shackles of PNG tubery and embrace the world of full 3D tracking that is going to show my shrimp form in real time. I just need to figure out how... I really need to look at some tutorials. Okay, if you'll be here tomorrow, that'll be fine then. Well, thank you very much. I aim to please. And then you'll be doing 5 hours. I am not certain. We shall see. How the hell do I... back to Twitch? Yes. I need to find somebody to raid. There's so many people currently streaming. Most of them are streaming Elden Ring. I have no idea what the delay is between real time and chat. But it feels like it's a lot. But then again, I'm not even an associate yet, so chances are very high that the delay between what I say and when you hear it is very high. And also very unfortunate. It's another thing that one needs to get used to as a streamer. Hmm. There should be a button in the stream manager on Twitch, a parachute symbol. Oh, dashboard, that's what it was called. There is indeed a raid channel button. There is some serious delay, not sure why. I don't know. I also have no idea. It also says that I've dropped 5.7% of the frames for this stream. I don't know if that pertains to anything, and yeah, it's Twitch being Twitch for me. I wrote that as you mentioned delay for reference. Oh boy, that is a very... Ooh. Yeah, it happens sometimes like that with the delay. Unfortunate circumstances, but we will make do. At least you have cool music to contend with, hopefully. That I hope is not too loud, but also loud enough to be audible. That is the goal that I aim with. Also, if my new sound settings and microphone settings are a hit, or... Why can I not hear this, man? What is happening? Okay, never mind. Raid channel. Still trying to... Who this? Start raid, is that how that works? Okay, command used. It's doing it. Does that work? Yeah, there it what? Okay. That works. Thank you everybody so much for joining me on this lovely journey through the rigors of Roadwarden. I very much appreciate every person that was here, commented, lurked, doesn't matter. If you enjoyed the content, then I'm happy because I like providing this content. And if there's an audience for it, then all the better. Oh god, Twitch, please. Twitch is a lovely thing, and hopefully eventually they will respect me enough to give me more than 2% of their bandwidth, but we shall find out over the course of time. But thank you very much everybody for tuning in and for watching, and I hope to see you for the next beautiful stream, which is happening tomorrow at 3 p.m. UTC +2. On the Bodhi T channel. It's spelled Bodhi TVA because VA stands for voice actor, but generally it, me, Bodhi T. Have a good one as well, Coleslaw. Take care, bye-bye. Yeah, 3